Hello everyone, Conor here. Just as a small disclaimer, some things we may talk about on the pod shouldn't be attempted or recreated. Remember to keep everything legal, keep it between the ages, and don't tear up the ground while you're on the pull.
Do you believe this here? So I sat down yesterday to eat food.
Yes.
So no dinner was made, so I had to go and get a chippy.
Yes.
And sat down anyway, and sister goes to me, "You need to really stop eating so much shit." And I went, "Well, that's very ironic, because I have stopped eating shit, and I'm fucking stone off."
You
And
can
then
see it,
she
to be
just
fair.
replied with, "Well, I have a stone and a pound off."
Talk about typical one-upmanship.
I was like, "Well, no, I've actually got a stone and 2 pound off." You know, joking. Like,
Suddenly then you'd lost 2 stone and...
well,
How do you hear a dripping noise?
a bird noise.
No, but literally as soon as I say, do you hear a drip noise? Oh, I heard it. Fuck knows
No, it's
what
not
it
a
is.
drip noise. No, I hear birds.
Oh, I hear
chirping.
lots of birds. Do you know what? White is not a flattering colour at all. Hence why I'm sitting like this here to try and hide the
That t-shirt does not do anything for me at all.
No, nor me, to be honest. I look like a
it's-
boss Bale here at the moment,
No,
like, but
you don't even.
but in the camera, it looks so bad on the camera.
But it's more like I washed mine once and it's half the size.
Oh no, well, this is XL. I got this is an XL one just to try
Oh
and.
fuck, mine is a medium.
No, this is an XL. Like,
It took everything. It took all the pound I lost.
well, in a couple of weeks' time, we'll have the new stuff out anyway. So,
Fuck, it's some job.
aye,
It is some fucking
we'll not
job.
say too much about it till it's released, but
It's some fucking job.
yeah, and the fact that you can actually just buy it rather than doing a pre-order makes my life a lot easier.
And he was saying that he's already had a direct message about it, and he's like,
do you
this,
know what?
this,
We'll shout him out. That was Philip Morrow.
yeah,
Philip
it's like-
Morrow has followed VA as long as I can remember. He, like, if you go on VA's Facebook, it's like the cross. It's like follows you and as well. You know, it comes up.
Yeah.
Philip's followed us. I think Philip's followed us from like near day one as well. To be fair,
pretty much.
I was hoping to get. He had a cars and coffee there at Malahans. He works for Malahans there a couple of weeks ago. I would have liked to have got, but just with like weekend after weekend after weekend after weekend of being away, I finally had. Last weekend was the first weekend I had to myself. I've had 2 weekends in a row now to myself, and it's been class. I've got like so much done. It's been great.
What so much? As in, well, you've eventually fixed the brakes and that heap of scrap, but you
Aye.
have.
Fair enough, but like, you know, I have also got the radio wired in, and your brother stole the conduit that I had to make it all neat to finish off part of the shed. So the wires are all just hanging now around for the radio and the CB.
Wow.
Yes, it does have brakes now. Are we just going to kick into the what's new, I suppose? No, we can't, because you still have to do the intro.
I do. It's crack, folks. You're listening to the Agri Unwooded podcast by Living at Slow Differences, where we chat everything from cars, primarily. We try to talk about cows these days, but
It has been very car focused this last while. That'll
it-
change in the next couple of weeks with silage season coming up. But
yeah, we silly season, and to be honest with you, not that we discuss birth in this podcast normally, but because my farm's been fucking one born every minute, it may be discussed in this podcast.
Yeah.
But I'm Conor,
and I am Michael.
and Michael just interrupted me very rudely there.
Yeah, but you won't have heard this because I've edited it out. We are on episode 60 because I could see the cogs in Connor's brain turning as if he was trying to figure out what episode we were on. Episode 60.
We are.
Episode 60. That's mental. That's a nice number. It's a nice number.
Well, it was only 39 episodes ago that you said to me, you know, by episode 21 we will know what everything's like or what the crack is.
That's right. Episode 21, supposedly 21 is supposed to be the magic number. We're not even on the top, probably not even in the top 1,000 podcasts in Ireland right enough yet.
But everybody in the whole age has got a podcast now.
Yeah, true. But longevity is key, I think. Like, A lot of people.
Everybody's doing them, but we have done this for a long time.
Well, like, to be fair, you look at us and then you look at Reload, who I think Reload's maybe in year 6. They started like 2019.
Jesus.
I often wonder how it would have been if we maybe had started earlier. Like, what would things have been?
How many more breakdowns would you have had? How many times would the Sierra broke down?
Well, see, the first like 2 years of it would have been.
You'd had no time because you'd have been fixing the Sierra because it wouldn't actually even have went yet.
No. So do you not remember in early 2021?
You'd been allowed to do it.
There is that as well. I don't think I'd have been allowed to do it either. Actually, now just come to think of it,
wait.
How dare we have done anything like?
You have to forget.
Yeah, I actually did forget that because life is so much more rosy now. Yeah. Don't want to really say too much about that one. Like,
we won't bring that up, but yeah.
Normally wouldn't bring anything like that up, but yeah. No, we probably actually wouldn't have been allowed to do it.
Well, there you go. We couldn't have done it in 2019.
So it was nearly enough the right time to start.
Or else it would have been a new episode out every 4 months.
Podcasting's weird. It is. It seems easy. Oh, you just meet up, sit and chat shit, and then edit a video. And hindsight, it is very easy.
Well,
But
this
it's
is the
also
thing.
incredibly difficult.
Well, this is the other thing. Excuse me. Well, there was. You messaged me saying, "Oh, do you mind doing Sunday morning?" And I said, "I no bother." So I'm like to you yesterday, right? I'll be at yours as soon as I can get the cow's milk. And you're like, "Huh?" And then you're like, "Sunday morning means as soon as I get the cow's milk, Michael." And then you're like, "Aye, right."
Sunday morning for me is like after 12.
No.
Sunday morning is usually right off for me.
That's dinner time for me on
It's normally
Sundays.
the only time I ever get a bit of sleep is Sunday morning. So
I'm quite jealous of it,
Yeah,
I'm not going to
it's
lie.
great.
My phone went off today at 6:10. And that was my father ringing me being like, "I thought you had to be milked early today." And I was like, "I do." Yeah.
it must be. I don't understand older people how they have like how they can get up at like 5 a.m. and just that's their life. I'm getting my second wind of activity and energy at 9 p.m. at night. Like I'm a night owl.
Yeah, you only think that. I think it's more you'll get out of bed in the morning whenever there's bills to pay. When you have to pay them.
I think sometimes John wishes I would get out a bit earlier.
There's there's nothing like about a debt to pay to get you out of bed.
That's what Conor Kelly's dad. That's what Conor Kelly and Conor Kelly's dad said. There's nothing gets you out of bed in the morning like a little bit of debt. Their argument was even if you can afford to buy it outright, always have something on finance because it keeps you accountable.
Well, it's even that too, and
which is actually a very good idea. You don't finance everything. Well, or you do. I don't know people's businesses, but
the biggest regret I have of the last probably 5-6 years was I didn't take a loan out and buy the Civic instead of buying it direct out of my bank account.
Sure, that's what I done with Sarah.
That was the worst fucking decision I ever made.
Because you left yourself dry.
I was not skint, but it would have meant that I could have bought her and she'd be paid probably within 3 years. Money was cheap, very cheap at the time.
Yeah.
And
I took out a loan to finish the Sierra, but I had that money sitting in the bank account and still have the majority of it. But my argument was I took out a loan and pay it off over the next few years. Like, I have that loan now squared, so it's fine, 3 years, so it's grand. But I took it out over 5 years, but I was able to get it cleared, so happy enough with that. But it was one of them things where I just wanted to be able to have a rainy day fund. So what was a couple of extra quid in interest, but if I had have bought everything, and then they end up look at my Sierra with all the unforeseen issues that we had, the engine going bang, the dyno, stuff like that, I would have never have allowed for. And that cost me an extra £2,800. You get that all sorted. And I was thankful that I had taken out the loan then because I was able just to go, yep, here, pay that. And that was used for nothing else other than the car. And I actually can't even get into that bank account now, but like, yeah, it meant that I could still have my savings. So for coming up to the wedding and all that there now, if I need anything, it was, I had something there to buy from. So take from. So I absolutely would recommend, even if you have the money sitting, give yourself that buffer. Plus it helps your credit rating.
Well, yeah.
You shouldn't finance everything. I don't think I made that mistake in the past. Like, I actually had a big conversation with Owen Kearns the other night. My voice is going bad. I actually had a big, this is going to go deep here, but we were actually talking about like addictions. So we're talking about addictions, and I know there's so many memes about it, but like, to be honest, buying car parks, I know we've actually laughed about it in the past, but I was actually sitting chatting with my own about this the other night, and I was like, do you know what? Like, buying car parts is genuine addiction. It is for me. Right. It is for me. Like, I have seen myself with £305 in a bank account, and have seen something come up at £280 and went, do you know what? I will buy it. It's good value for money. I'll buy it. And then you leave yourself with £25 at the end of the month, or you end up in the overdraft, which is where I spent a lot of time living. And like, just so irresponsible. And I have so much shit lying in the bottom shed now of stuff that like is stripped apart, and stuff that like you can't even sell it because it's lost all monetary value till it's built apart again. Like, I had done for about 5 years. I was doing that. So whilst owning the Sierra, like, I'm buying all the bits for the Sierra. Sure, I have the P100 of the Cavalier, of the Lexus, and I've loads of bits for all of them, but nothing to complete all of them. That makes sense.
Okay, yeah.
So like, you're sitting there with like all this stuff, and all I'm saying is like, you can tell yourself that you're like, oh, I'm getting this at a good price and all this here, but like, genuinely, when you're sitting there and you're in a good job, making good enough money, and you're sitting looking at the bank account going, how the fuck am I so broke? You can tell yourself, oh sure, I'm not spending it in drugs, I'm not spending it in drink, I'm not passing it up against a wall, I've something to show for my money. But whenever you walk into a shed, there's just parts lying everywhere.
Is this the story of your life?
It was for a long time, genuinely. I know it's got a bit deep, but we were talking about it the other night, and I thought it was something maybe worth bringing up, because like, there's so many memes and so many things where people laugh about it on like Facebook, nearly makes it seem okay, but the reality is it can equally be as financially crippling as a drug hobby. It mightn't ruin your life just as much, but it also might. I do know of people who have nearly bankrupted themselves over building cars. Like, and people who haven't been able to get mortgages because they've built cars and missed loan payments and stuff like that, and it screwed them over for houses. I do know that has happened to people, all over the head of a car. I know it can be your life, but there's a random bird just flew in there. Oh, we really need to get this place sealed up. Anyway, a bit of a deep start to Sunday morning chat in the podcast, but it came up the other night, and I was just sitting thinking about it, and I was like, do you know what? It can be. I don't even know how we got onto this, but it came up.
I haven't a fucking clue how we got onto this at this stage.
No, but it's only because it come up. I suppose it's part of what's new. I guess it come up the other night we were talking about it. So look, guys, I suppose like, you can all, like, everyone sort of looked at me and went like, oh, he is this here, and he's got money, and he's done this and spent all this stuff. But what they don't see is the fact that you haven't been able to buy yourself a pair of shoes for a lifetime, or you literally can't buy yourself a new pair of boxers because all your boxers are worn thin, but you haven't. Like,
well, I'm the typical man, right? More or less going out, shoes and clothes and that, I've, as rare as to say,
you have your work brown shoes and your good brown shoes, like,
and
you're one of those guys.
Work jeans and the good jeans. Well,
I still don't understand why you don't wear Snickers, or at least something that the pockets alone pay for themselves.
I don't know. I just never really was a fan. Well, never say never, but like the point of this, me saying any of this is, like, say for example I have a shirt there, and it's shirt I've only realised there recently that it's more or less the only one I would normally wear out, but I got it before the first LZ festival, which was 3 years ago.
Conor, I have shirts I've had for 10 years.
And I bought another new one. The same shirt, just bought a new one on Amazon. And it was lying in a packet, still brand new. I just threw it. I was like, oh, whenever this other one's done, at least I'll have to really like the shirt. And then a year had passed, and the other one still isn't done. So then I was like, couldn't find the other in the wash, and I was going out on Easter Sunday night, and I was like, fuck it, I'll take the new one out. And well, if I could go back in time a fortnight, I would definitely do the last fortnight quite differently.
Well, it's not your fault you got the flu, like.
Well, I overdid myself with alcohol, having not drank very much for quite a considerable amount of time. And then, yes, I got the flu. Flu's no joke, all the same. I have not been that sick in fucking years.
That was the same as me in January. I've never felt a sickness like it, and I've had bad colds before. Like, I remember I've been sick as a dog, even with the bad cold I got hit before the flu, although apparently that was all part of the flu. It used to be I could be out dosed up and standing in the shed in the cold, no bother, would tear on, just get through it. I couldn't do anything.
Oh, same.
And when I got the flu, then just after years and New Year's, me and Becca were both lying in the house. I couldn't get up the stairs without nearly fainting because I was that out of breath.
Same.
Unreal. And lying there literally with a pain in my head, like it just felt like someone was stabbing my head. I couldn't breathe, could barely see, dry mouth, dry cough, lying there on the sofa just thinking that was your time had come. Honestly, like I would imagine that's why, like,
well, the Thursday night we recorded, I wasn't,
you were probably starting
really that bad.
Yeah.
Friday not good. Saturday really wasn't good.
Sunday you were fucked. Was it Sunday you were?
Sunday morning. Well, to be honest, Saturday was nearly as bad. Was pretty much as bad as Sunday. Essentially we had to go out to milk, but it was a case of
about that.
This is how bad it was. I turned everything on.
Yeah.
And sat down in the steps to get out of the parlour at the back and just lay with my head in my hands, to be honest with you. I didn't put any milkers on that. Gemma actually, fair fucks to her.
Fair play.
She milked. Then the Sunday morning, I couldn't get out of bed. It's weird. It's a very weird place to be, where whenever you're the likes of or you're coughing up or whatever, but my throat was that sore that if I burped, it was like my throat had burnt.
Oh, you'd probably got acid reflux or something.
Oh, I don't know. Put it this way, right? So if I
My throat's bad here.
to go to burp,
hold on. Fucking hell. Sorry, go on. You were saying
it happened to be like, if I happened to, like, say I was passing under that, the burp, as weird as this is to say, burnt the fuck out of my throat. So I was trying not to burp, and then if I was having to try and breathe in through my nose, because if I used my mouth at all,
it was
I was starting to cough like fuck. But anyway, so eventually,
it's no joke, like.
Eventually got fucking through it, like, and it's a weird place to be as well. For I think it was Tuesday, like Monday morning, Gemma gave a hand, and then Monday evening, it was funny. It was like I sort of half got a bit of life about me, but I walked where the cows were grazing at is across the road, but you have to walk them down pathway through half a field, and then
you have like a concrete path over through the field, haven't you?
We do, but like.
And do the cows stay in the path, or do you have it?
Oh, it's fenced. Like.
It is fenced.
Aye.
I wasn't sure.
No, they wouldn't stay in the path. To be honest with you, from the path where they go off the path to the gate, basically they walk through a bit of a field to go across the road. But if you look at the field now, there's just like a line of pure dead grass, because they're all walk. It's funny, they all walk diagonally in the shortest distance. But when I was walking behind him down to it, like, no word of lie, I could have fell over. Like, it's a weird place to be whenever your mind is saying, right, obviously walk, tear away, and your body won't do it.
Yeah.
Your body like can't.
Did you say you could have fallen over, or you did fall over?
See, the Friday evening, Saturday morning, say Friday evening till probably it was Monday evening, I would say it was more like mental strength to why I didn't faint. It's a weird place to be, like. It's the most fucked up feeling ever. You know, like, because it's funny, on Monday evening I was like, how the fuck do I ever have the energy to wash the car after milking? Now, I'm obviously back to myself, but, and then the worst of it was, so I thought I had to get rid of it. And then it's like I had a stomach bug.
Yeah.
And then obviously all the symptoms were a stomach bug.
That happened to me. That's exactly what happened to me too.
I was fucked with it for 4 days.
Yeah.
You know.
You basically, anything that went in came out one
First
way or
time
another.
I have genuinely been off sick for a week from work.
It's the first time I ever called in sick to work as well. It was back in January. I was off for 2 days. I was supposed to be off, and I came in on the Monday. I done a half day, and I was like, folks, I'm not right here, and got home and was still fucked and was off the rest of that week. And I was quite annoyed because the week beforehand I'd taken it off, like as annual leave, lost all of it, and then I was sick.
Ironically, I took the week before that off because that was away.
Yeah, so I was sick the whole time. It was horrible. I probably talked about it in probably episode 51 or 52 or something like. But it was really, really, really bad. It sucked. It was bad.
Yeah, and do you want to know something that made it even fucking worse? Suppose this is basically the watch me with me. Fucking one born every minute. Well, not obviously as mad as that, but the Sunday morning is just a lot of cows have calved and around the same time, and obviously I was fucked. Sunday morning anyway, I wasn't out at all, and like whenever the cows come in that have just calved either that night or that morning, you haven't updated the computer yet, so it still thinks that whenever they walk in, it gives a message that dry cow basically, don't milk her. And all I heard was hold milk, dry off, 10, hold milk, dry off, 11, 12, 13, and I was like, oh fuck. Because obviously Jen only knew so much from two milkers, and then Dal was keeping her right on Sunday morning. So I think I took them to 10 o'clock in the morning to...
You have a drafting gate though, don't you?
We do.
So that's probably a deadly job whenever you see the cattle coming through and it's saying hold 10, dry off, hold 11, dry off. Does she split them up?
No.
Oh.
The way the gate works is if... Say, for example, you have 20 cows you're going to dry off or you're going to scan.
Do you have to manually input it in the system and then she scans the ear tag? And
essentially, so like you would go onto the software beforehand. You can do it, like if a cow comes in and you're like, I want to do her foot or jagger for whatever reason, you can do it from each unit. There and then. Or you can have it, like if you've 20, you'll premeditate it, you'll put it in. You'll basically set that then cows to draft because then you've nothing to worry about. But the most we've ever done was, say there's 100 milking and it was draft 35.
Oh.
The pen basically is just about big enough for them. So we were used to be, what, do you know what our main cubicle house looks like? It's basically just a long shed.
It's like a big A shape. That's how I describe yours. It's a big A shape.
The main house of cubicles, the very top of it, there's like a wall separating a few cubicles. So essentially, there used to be a gate hung there.
Yeah.
And whenever say we were scanning a couple of cows or scanning a lot of cows, you would have put the cows in behind that gate there. So because it was only so big, if you had 3 or 4 cows already in it and you were trying to separate a fourth or a fifth one, they were trying to fight to get into the parlour to get out, and then you were trying to fight with them to try and get a cow in around. It was a disaster, to be honest with you. So that's why. Well, so whenever we done the other, I'd heard of a couple of people with drafting gates and mixed opinions. To be honest, from what I now know of them, maybe maintenance was lacking in some of them.
Yeah.
Because, like, you have to watch the oil level on them, because obviously it's high speed air ram. It needs to be oiled.
It's oil air lube, isn't it?
Aye.
Yeah.
Aye.
That's a finicky enough system. Like,
You know,
even when
all you do is top it up with vacuum pump oil.
yeah, but maybe it's different in work because we're running with high speed machines. But like, we would run oil air lube in certain machines and certain applications that you just can't run like grease, and it can be finicky enough. The pumps are so expensive for them. Like,
We
everything's
just
so
have
expensive.
a regulator, and then you put the oil into the regulator.
Oh, right, okay. It's maybe not just as high tech as what we run then.
It's basically the lines running through it, and there's two bowls, and you obviously isolate the air away, and then you fill up the bowl with.
Tell me, see with your oil
I'll
air,
show it to you whenever you're doing
with
the
your
road
oil
later.
air lube system. Does it recycle the oil, or does it drain into just a tank and
There's
then you
like
empty
a-
the tank?
Oh, I'm assuming that it.
See, in our systems and work, you don't recycle the oil.
No, you don't recycle oil in ours either.
Does it have like when the line comes up? Does it have like maybe 4 or 5 spirals?
I will let you look at it.
Okay, yeah.
But-
Because that's how you can tell how much oil versus air is in your system.
Oh, it's just where the regulator says the pressure of air in the system. It's the way that I can tell if the air compressor's turned off and I've no air from the air gates in the parlour, because I can look up where Dairy Master put it was. I can look up and see what. And it's funny. See, whenever I lift the gates up, they won't allow themselves to go down unless there's like 5 bar air pressure in the system.
Well, just whenever you talk about oil air lube systems, that brings back a comment my boss got one of the other lads with on site one day. They were working around a machine that had one of them oil air lube systems. It's one of the best witted lines I've ever heard someone cutting someone off with. And John goes to Casper. He's like, Casper, just watch around that. He goes, that's like, it's a dear enough bit of kit. And Casper's like, oh, fuck it, sure, it'll be grand. And John goes, and if you break it, it'll be $4 grand. I thought that was class.
$4,000.
Oh, easily. There's actually 12 grams. One of the things that you want to replace the system. Yeah, it's
You can look at ours, but I think ours is just.
yours will maybe not be as high tech as the one we're running, because ours has to have. Ours is like a proper control box and everything like for it. It's
Ours
like its own panel.
Air goes in, and then obviously the water's taken out, and we can drain the water out of one reservoir, and then the oil's in the other reservoir too.
I must take a look at it because I didn't know it was oil air lube, so I must take a look at it. But
Keeps the rams good, you see, in the seals.
Oh, aye.
Because we used to go through seals like fucking the old parlour. And the air rams. But yes, other than that, in regards to you and me, I had the flu. I was not live for a while, and then I came back to life. We've had like 14 cows calved this last 10 days.
Oh, that's a lot of calves.
Which for us is quite a lot. Yeah, it's quite a lot.
Absolutely. Spending probably most of the time watching the moo call or the herd. No,
thankfully,
use a heat scanner, don't you, with your system?
No, like, what do you mean?
Do you use like moo call or anything like that?
No, so we have. Yes, you've heat detection to get the cow and calf, or to assist you with that.
Yeah,
but,
Michael, obviously.
But we don't have moo call.
Yeah, you don't have anything that can tell you when the cow's about to calve. It's just a matter of watching the cameras and keeping an eye on them.
The camera's not working at the minute.
It's
It's
just a matter of going out and.
But it's one of those things where, like, whenever the animals get ready to calve,
you're thinking, oh, she's going to calve
but
tonight.
It's funny, like, majority of them have been just. You knew from the dates roughly when they were going to.
Yeah.
But then next thing out of nowhere, fucking,
bang, 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 bang.
You know, their udders bravely swole within a matter of hours and all that crack. But yeah, still a lot more to calve. And a very busy day washing to go home and wash tractor. So I was hooking the loader off there the other day.
Oh, Yes, you sort of half talked about this.
Now, normally, right. So what used to be the case was there was an old shear grab that came with an old loader.
Okay.
Shear grab's quite heavy in the front.
It's like an Ed
You
Johnson or something
literally-
like that, or is it?
Haven't a clue.
Is it yellow?
Again, actually, haven't seen it, and I'll explain why I haven't seen it in so long. But it came with an old loader for the 43 we had.
Oh, okay.
And then it was never needed, so it was literally, this can go onto the front of the loader to keep the loader up as like counterweight,
Yes.
because we're never going to use it. I think actually it was used once just for the crack of it, whenever we were down 2 shear grabs, because we have 3.
Oh, okay.
We do have 3, don't we?
Donald has like 3 shear grabs as well.
Oh, But actually, I think we do have 3.
And so,
Anyway.
so do McCann's, who take a couple of sheds here. They've got the good shear grab and the bad shear grab.
We have we had put a new side in our good shear grab, because anyway, right, so we kept that, and then that was until one day Jared needed something randomly, so we cut it up.
You cut up the shear grab?
He cut up the old shear grab that was used to take the stuff off, so then we couldn't use it anymore.
Okay.
And then because the only bucket that fits onto the universal tractor brackets is the bucket that Dad likes to use for dung, because it's half fucked. You never can use it. So the only thing that can be used really is the pallet forks.
Okay.
And they're just about heavy enough.
Yes, okay.
So normally you have to take the loader off with the pallet forks. But because there's no real ballast in it, you could be fucking sitting there, and obviously the way a loader is now, you pull the 2 pins out and you screw them around, and then
Yeah.
that keeps them off.
Yeah. Oh,
And
I
then
seen
you
that for the first
essentially-
time the other day there, actually.
Oh, did you see him?
Yeah, I seen
so
Jared do it, yeah.
you basically put the loader down, and that draws the bottom of her out, so the pins, and then as you flick up the headstock, it pulls her out of the brackets.
It pushes herself out, and then you have these 2 basically legs that pull
Yes,
down.
the counteract. Well, the loader completely bounced off the tractor, and I'm lucky that it didn't fucking ruin the bonnet of the tractor. Didn't realise that the toes were up here, because I was trying to like get her off, and then she eventually did come out, and she just went full on and jumped off the tractor,
Yikes.
and then she sheared off the return line
Oh.
onto the loader block.
Oh.
So I turned the tractor off immediately, and then took the quick attach hydraulic fittings off, and I went, well, this is fucking awkward. Now we're fit to get it fixed, alright. It's not fixed yet, but I now have to clean the fucking shitload of hydraulic oil off the window and the bonnet and the mudguard and everything off that fucking
Do you
tractor.
need me to bring up any cleaning stuff today? Or do you have enough you can cover mine?
Would APC Brett take it off?
Oh, aye.
Hydraulic oil?
Aye.
Even off the wiper now?
Should do.
See, I have an extendable arm,
Aye. Should
which
do.
will hopefully come in handy.
Come handy for both tractors, eh? Because I still need to cut the wiring out of the Mapro as well. I'll get onto my own, well, it's new in a bit, but to cut that out to put the CB into your tractor.
Will it take you long putting CB in the tractor?
No.
No.
Do you have a clamp for an aerial?
No.
Do you have anything you can clamp an aerial onto?
A wingmar?
Aye, but you need something the aerial basically has a wee 12mm bolt on the bottom of it.
Right.
So you'd need
How
to.
do you clamp it on the Mary?
I have it just lying in the cab at the minute.
Right.
But in the Fiat, I made a bracket for the. But you can buy brackets for them. You can buy a wee bracket.
But where the fuck are you going to get it today?
You won't get it today. Well, actually, you probably would get it today. Your man probably would have one if I asked him. But
For your road
that-
trip?
Drive to Carrickfergus.
Well, it's only 11:30 now.
We still have a fucking podcast to record. Anyway, on the road. Actually, that's maybe not a bad idea.
What?
Do the podcast where we're driving up to your man's. Still need to find out if he's even there.
Well, it's 11:30 now.
Do you not have any angle? You could probably just make an angle, but is there any holes?
There's a fucking welder, and you can weld at home.
Aye, okay.
You could make some. Or can you not cable tie it?
Not really, no.
We'll figure something
Yeah,
out.
yeah, yeah.
It's still a sun strip and all to put on the fucking tractor
Yeah,
too.
but you could, and worst comes to worst, it's only because you're only going to be behind me, so worst
You're
comes
only
to worst.
doing this so it's handy.
For us to chat, yes.
Yes.
Yes. You could probably just keep it in your tractor, the aerial in the tractor. It would
it's
pick up.
handy.
Aye, because you're going to be behind me the whole way anyway, so it'll be grand.
Aye. No. Aye, so you're leading and then I'll be behind you.
Yeah, well, one or the other. There's usually a fella in a lorry leads it every year. He likes leading it. It's like an old Scania or an old DAF. I'm not clued up in my lorries enough to know, but it is like it's from like the 70s. It's all been recommissioned, redone up. So I think is it Kevin McLean or something you call him? He likes to lead the run. So it's then after that he sort of sets the speed and everyone else sort of follows. So I suppose when you bring that up, but now by the time you're listening to this, the run will have went. We're recording the day before the run. We don't actually know how the run's going to go.
I've never done the run.
I done it last year.
I'm not physically running it.
It's interesting. I suppose I'll see how much pull the podcast actually kind of has in a way.
Or how much pull
it doesn't have.
Your sponsored posts have had.
Yeah, I've had to sponsor a couple of things. It's been kind of painful. I'll put up a final post today when we're watching the tractors up at yours, and then hopefully I've had a few messages of ones saying tractors washed and all this here, all slicked up for Monday and all this, which is nice.
You see, the one thing that's going to hurt us big time, and people
good weather with the silage.
Yeah. I've said to Conor and McLaren, like,
look, there's a couple of other ones said they'll go, but
go to it.
Look, I can't. It's the same as Adam Cooper. Like I said to Adam, "Are you going?" He goes, "We have 1,000 acres booked in next week." I just went, "Yeah, that's more important." If it was a rainy day, you'd probably be fine.
But you don't want a rainy day.
But then you don't want a rainy day for a tractor run either.
Look, we'll all going well. We'll get a decent crowd. We'll get a lot of pound made for the charity.
Sure, even if it goes well, then we know what to do for next year. If it doesn't go well, we then just have to sit down and figure out why did it not go well. What could we have done better? Is the timing wrong? Do you need to maybe go to Easter?
But then you have money more.
Sure, no one be at it anymore.
Really?
I don't know. I forgot it was on actually.
To be fair,
Moneymore used to be the biggest tractor run back in the day. It was like if you were going anywhere, Moneymore and 5 road ends were the 2 big tractor runs. They were class. But I think Joe Rogers with Mulligans is probably now the biggest one. It is a good run, but me and you just ended up kind of missing it last year. You ended up going on home early, and I ended up getting as far as Mahara, and I had something else, or going as far as Marfelt, and I had something else to do as well, so I turned and come home as well.
Got me. What did I have on that?
You got stuck behind, I think it was Brennan's. One of them had a flat.
That's right, but there was something, I had to be home for whatever reason. We had Bales to bring home.
Yeah, so it was like one of them things where it was like,
we were bringing in Bales, I think 3 o'clock in the morning, and then I get up, milk cows, and for whatever strange reason I had been given, like, I sort of took a second wind and washed the tractor and went to it. And then as I was driving home, I think I immediately regretted it because it was knackered. You know,
I know I couldn't do the full thing either because I had something to do that evening as well.
You rung me and you were like, "I'm in Marfelt here waiting on you," and I'm like,
"Waiting on you in Marfelt."
I'm fucking hold this home this 2 hours.
It was a good enough out run. Like it's good old crack. See that one with Mulligans as the Paddy Eddie Donnelly Memorial with all the fates. That's class. Like that's fucking deadly. Coming down through Draperstown and just looking and seeing all the line of fates in front of you and behind you. That's unreal. I will be doing Mulligans again this year if all bees well because it's a good run for that. It's a good run for the fate.
Was it not just for 1 year that they done the memorial?
I hope they do it every year, to be honest. There's a lot of fates in that part of the country.
There is.
As you seen. I didn't even know it was on, like, until I came in and the next thing I was pointed this way and I was like, oh shit, right. Be nice now with the turbo to do it as well, like, you know. But you're
going to be hard to listen to tomorrow.
It shouldn't be too bad. It should sound alright though. It took me a while to get used to it because it sounds not like how it used to sound.
Well, it wouldn't because it's got a turbo on it, mate.
Yeah, it just sounds different. But yeah, I suppose other than the run, kind of what's new with me. It's been a few things. We've had a lot of work done to the farm. The Sarah broke again. Did I talk about that in the last pod?
Ah, you did. About the clutch and shit.
Well, Conor Dugan, CDM Sport, new sponsor, managed to sort me out a few parts for it. So if I don't know whether I have the cutaway of Conor in, or I'm going to do it later. So you'll hear a sponsored ad at some point. But yeah, he sorted me out with a few bits. So to be honest, he's like 3.5 miles away from here, and like for the likes of me building the Sierra, he has everything I need, like all the kind of custom parts.
Yes.
So good man to have. Good man to have. For me anyway, it's perfect. Like for all the weird Frankenstein-y kind of shit that I need, drift car stuff, like, so it works well for me. Yeah, so I've been working at it, but this is a bit frustrating actually. I had my ARP system, gear stick. I had to basically put in a wee spacer because of the way the gear stick was mounted for the Drift Games Bash, and then I redone it properly.
Sorry. Turner Contracts is probably for the run tomorrow, and I'm assuming that's photos.
It probably is, yeah.
I'm just worried that tractor of mine is going to look like a heap of dung compared to,
fine.
A lot of them.
My phone's now going mad too here.
There's not a hope in hell that I'll have that tractor that clean, but anyway, for the
Big
moment.
around. Go ahead. But it's was trying. So I have an ARP shifter in my car, but I had it like sitting up too high, so I had to get a wee spacer made for it.
You gotta get my shielder all, yeah.
The spacer welded itself more or less till the ARP rod, and I had to cut it with a grinder and bait it off, and it ended up, like, when I was trying to take it off, it actually ended up like cutting away and wearing into the aluminium. And so I was putting it back in the car, and it's all seized up now. So I'm actually kind of worried that I need a new bottom section. Like I need a new one. I've put it back in now. Worst comes to worst, I might get Brian Gordon to machine me up one. It might be the next best thing to do is get something machined, which will cost me a few quid. But what else am I going to do? Like, I don't think IRP sell them as a spare part.
Oh dear.
So the reason why I had to do that is after Dubshed, with my car, if I was changing gear, because of that longer throw, basically the gear stick itself was clashing with the actual body of, like, where the gear stick sits in. That it was hitting the chassis, and that's why I couldn't find gears. So I need to just get the car up, get it all put together correctly, and play about with it underneath to make sure that it doesn't hit any bolts, hit anything. So hopefully get it all sorted soon, but it's been a wee bit of a pain, if I'm quite honest. Mary got brakes.
So you tell me.
So in the end up, I just replaced everything. So last year, she bust a slave cylinder, and this was the start of how it all went. She bust a slave cylinder. I replaced the 2 slave cylinders, and it worked for about 4 more weeks. And then that was fine, and I kept bleeding it. And then you get one good. It started off, you got maybe 5 good brakes, 5 good pushes of the pedal. And then in the end up, it was 1 good push of the pedal. And after that, you lost all brakes. That was the brakes gone.
Yeah.
And you seen Ross trying to get the silage, or the the slurry, the gang slatting.
Oh yes.
It was a disaster. Like it was, you'd no control. It was a complete fucking disaster. So I pulled it down to the bottom shed, and when I was waiting on the parts to come, I threw in the radio. Great job, really good job. She's just solid mounted, so it rattles and falls out occasionally, so we need to fix that.
Well, it wouldn't fall out.
Oh, it literally.
Sorry, what I meant to say was it wouldn't be like you to not fall out.
Yeah, so I need to get something sorted for that, but that'll be alright. That's put a wee bit of like bonder or something in the
lash it, lather it in tea cotton on the ground.
Would that work?
I'm taking the piss.
About silicon, to be fair, would like
tea cotton will just sort everything.
Okay, fair enough. Could just cover it in glue as well, right enough, but
that would also help.
Yeah, so I just
wouldn't fall out then.
Well,
because it'd probably hurt my head.
And then
I'd have a public liability for you.
It nearly falls out more than idle. to be honest.
Because she shakes that much.
Yes, because she's solid mounted. Bit of a balls. So, yeah.
Some truck, hey.
Deadly. But we're getting there.
Only you would buy it.
We're figuring out as we go along. But it is actually...
No, you are figuring it out as you go along.
It is actually a great job. I was sitting working away, doing a few things yesterday evening in the yard, and first time used it in a while, to actually sort of a few things like cleaning up the yard with the bucket and scraping a few things up, and I was sitting listening to music. It was great. It actually was class.
Priorities.
The brakes, I ended up having to go fit all new slave cylinders to the brakes. So fun fact, a Mapro is Ford 5000 axles.
Right.
2 Ford 5000 rear axles. And then the slave cylinder, so it's like the brakes is kind of the same as a clutch. You have a master and a slave. So the slave cylinders are all out of a Mini.
Right.
And the master cylinder is out of a Series 2 Defender. 2 master cylinders, so I replaced all that, put new lines in, going from the reservoir over. Might need to modify it a wee bit for you have. The brakes aren't just as good as they were originally, but they are, well, at least they stop you. But you have to push the foot down further in the pedal to get stopped. So maybe you just need to adjust the rod to maybe less throw. So that's that. And then your brother done. We had a shed really badly damaged in Storm Owen. Well, Dara started it.
A1. I fucked it, yeah. How long? I need a while wipe my nose, hey.
And we had to cut back in because Conor had to go and blow his nose.
Well, I don't think anybody really wanted to see that.
Yeah, fair enough. No, we got we had a shed really badly damaged during Dara started it, and then Owen or however the fuck you pronounce it finished it off, and the shed basically the timbers were like sort of like hanging like that, and if I had got a thing of snow, like I was sitting every day, you were sort of looking on it going, and there was cattle in the shed too, and we had to end up opening gates to move, so basically run the cattle over a wider area, so if the shed started to fall, the cattle would have somewhere to run to. So basically they got the run of the full shed to make sure it was they were safe. So that was okay. The second the cattle went out, I was like, yeah, we need to get this done. So your brother done it for us. Him and Thomas Johnson come down. To be fair, they done a cracking job. Like Jared and Thomas done it well. Said Jared and Thomas, mainly Jared. I don't think Thomas again annoyed at me for saying that if he's listening, which he might be, to be fair. But they done a real good job. So fair fucking play to them, and now have proper working lights in it and all that there. So it's been good. We've also Cormac Ferris has been out doing fencing for us as well. Something he actually recommended. I don't know what your thoughts on this are, but they're expensive. Fuck, they're dear. But I think I can actually justify it now. We've put in concrete posts instead of strainers.
Oh,
is that what you do as well? No, we've done it because they'll last about 40 years. Like.
Oh, you mean just concrete strainers?
Mm-hmm. And then concrete them into the ground.
To be honest with you,
they're going nowhere.
I have seen one farm done in full concrete posts.
That's just a man trying to hide from the tax man.
I don't know, but it did look like a far better job.
Ours is concrete strainers and then just obviously wooden posts. But and then Cormac, he was saying he was running high tensile wire, but he's redone it. So because I've taken one of the fields back, and there's the fella that rents solar ground, he has sheep, and basically the fence was up here and down here, and then there's like a drop goes from our field to his field, and well, it's all our ground, but he's taking it, and basically there was gaps everywhere. So Cormac came in and redone the ground to basically get it all done, and then I got all the gates widened, so we've got new gates in as well, and then actually at the bottom of the field I got another gate put in the bottom corner, and I was saying, Mum actually originally said, are you thinking about doing a gate down there? And I was like, I think I will. And she goes, why? I goes, don't know, just think it'll be handy. And I said to Cormac, and Cormac was like, do whatever you want. He goes, your field, like, it's, you know, you just do what you want, and I'll or you tell me what you want and I'll do it. And I goes, fuck it, throw in a gate. And then I came down the field yesterday because I was checking the grass for silage, you know, and I don't know how it happened, because the whole thing was lying, the whole thing was done, the fences is already done, and looked, and there was one bull, like sort of maybe 9-month-old, 10-month-old bull calf, bull weanling in my field, and I looked over at the cow, and the fence was done the whole way down, there was no gates open, and I was just like, how? So then I came down, jumped out of the Jeep and got closer, and he took off and he ran straight into the fence. He banged off the concrete post, and I went, right, well, that's already paid for itself. So the thing, I went down to the bottom of the field,
Somebody's going to have a headache.
opened the very, very bottom gate, like, which leads into the next field.
And he ran in through it.
Opened it. He literally ran down. I walked around the back side of him to sort of just encourage him to go back down. My biggest fear, he was going to run headbutt the Amrock.
Yeah.
But he ran down. I'm not joking. He bounced off that fence the full way down. Dum, dum, dozing off the fence. As I say, headbutted a concrete post, and I was like, ouch.
That's the face he would pull.
And I eventually got to the bottom and went out the gate, and I just texted Cormac. Actually, I sent Cormac a picture as I was getting out of the Jeep. I just sent a picture and just went, how? And he just went, it's literally a mystery. I was like, but like, honestly, this thing was wild. I would say it probably cleared the fence.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, because they can do. I've literally saw a cow in front of me, or a heifer in front of me, stare at me. No one ever, they sometimes go wild and say, do runners. Stare at me. Look at me, look behind me, look left, right, and turn around and just straight over
Well,
a gate.
ironically, I think in one of the last episodes, I had said that we had a cow calved down. I had milked her, and I was like, oh, her right hind foot, whatever way she had slid it in the ground, I thought, you know, this could be a problem, so we'll put her out to the field. And the fucker cleared 3 fences. It's like there's fuck all wrong with your leg.
I'll never forget this. I think I was about 6 or 7, and we had a cat, and I'm not joking. I don't know how this could be true. And the older I get, I'm like, how are my eyes disbelieving me? Because this just sounds like the type of story that Noel Furlong or something will come out with. But we were down the middle field, which is actually the field beside where I've taken back, many moons ago. I think I was 6. And there was a cow calved, and the calf was no longer born. It got startled. It jumped up and it ran up the hill through the gate, and we got it. You know that red gate there? We got it stuck in that red gate. It had literally been born and fucking took off.
Do you want to hear one? Well, this.
But does that sound like that's legit?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Right. So. We last year had a limousine bull calf, put it this way, right? And it was no longer than maybe born an hour. We were getting the colostrum on it. And we had kept the cow below the parlour, so she was out of the way so we could work away at it. You talk about an awkward bastard to try and feed. And there was more life in him than there was in some calves that were a month old.
Yeah.
Total fucking disaster.
Well, I've talked about this back and forward. I was actually over with my man the other day, and I don't want to say too much. Fella, you'll have heard me mention him before in the podcast, but anyway, you know yourself, TB's not good crack. But he has a wean of calves. That he can't get rid of at the minute.
Yeah.
If he can get clear and the price was right, I would consider just buying. Like, I think he has something like 25 Angus.
I can solve your problem, Michael. Because you know what? I'm now clear.
Do you have anything at any Angus?
It's not my decision to make, but I'm now clear.
Okay. Forgot about that. I thought you maybe would have sold everything by now.
No, there's been none sold.
A deal has been struck on the podcast. We'll take that conversation off air.
Ask Daddy. I haven't.
I'll say to him today.
He might want to sell anything.
I'll say to him today. I'll not be buying anything now to July. Or maybe June anyway. Just to get a wee bit of grass back in the ground after the silage off.
There's literally... Just ask him. It's up to him.
Because Donald might go clear in July, you see. This is right.
There's a big might.
Might. If not July, then September. I would still take September and just cut silage this year. Just cut everything for grass. Do 2 or 3 cuts. And then just have a fuck ton of bales to feed over the winter.
So you're looking off milk?
Absolutely.
What have you got to feed them?
Grass.
Fair enough. And then just feed the meal?
Yeah.
Probably out of all stock to buy at the minute, probably the least risk involved in buying just Winlands.
I think so.
As
They're
long
not
as you got them
too much dear.
For I heard recently that somebody got $4.50 for week-old calves.
Yeah.
That's very dear.
Yeah, I heard that too. That's mental money. And I know where you heard that because your dad told me the same story the other day. So the story you're hearing is the exact same story I'm hearing. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah. To the point where I was like, sure, what if I put them in Dundee? And then the first thing my father said was, well, what happens if somebody comes and their check bounces? And I'm like, well, that other person has the same problem then. And he said, well, we can have it as their problem and we'll just have our own problem. So there you go.
Yeah. The likes of like Eamon Henry would do a lot of selling in Dundee. Like that's where he does a lot of his stuff. I'd be skeptical of if I was paying someone with a check, like, and I didn't know them. Like, for instance, I bought the sower, I gave him a check, and the fella was like, "Look," he goes, "you seem like a reasonable enough chap," but he goes, "I'd like to, he's like, I'd like if you're paying me by check, I wouldn't mind waiting till the money clears before you can take the sower." I went, "Yeah, absolutely, no problem. I don't need it any sooner." So I went down and he said, money came through there, good man. I went and left it in the car transporter and had a fucking siege getting it home, but that's a story for another day.
Why?
It turns out sores are very hard to tie down. Also, your man, I wanted to strap it. Your man also was like, no, strap it like this. He was wrong. It should have been strapped. But then who am I to know? Because sure, I tried taking the manure bags home on the car transporter and realised very quickly why everybody else takes them home and drop side trailers and sometimes silage trailers and cattle trailers. So if I'm going for manure again, I'll just take the wee Fraser with me instead. Aye. But Mary can offload four bags at a time.
To be fair though, in England whenever we were shifting about the fertilizer, it was always done in the Bale chiller. But they were ton bags, to be fair.
Aye, they'll not move the same way.
Yeah. To be fair, I've been in your shoes.
You were saying following Conor McLaren in the quad, wasn't it?
That's how bad it was. I made sure they would not fucking fall over.
That was the same as mine. But because they can move, and it
doesn't matter how tight you have the straps. Yeah, pointless.
And sure, I had the four of them were tied together.
To be fair, whenever they were in the Bale of 4. I never had any issues then.
Yeah, well,
clearly there wasn't enough plastic around them or something. Because it was whenever I split them up, then that's when I had the problems.
Yeah, there was no. Well, if I was to do it again, maybe I would just put 2 ratchet straps around the Bale of 4.
Possibly.
And then put them over the top.
Because what way did you strap? Did you strap through the eye?
No.
Oh, you didn't.
No.
So we pull the boyo up and you put the belt through.
Do you do it that way? No, I done it
just
one round the front and one start from the rear and that way, and one round like that, and then on the sides as well.
Yeah. If it's a Bale of 4, just lift where you would lift them with.
Oh.
And put the thing straight through the two of them.
This is my first time ever moving fertilizer. I never thought, because I thought that wouldn't pull it right.
No. That'll tie them. That's how I would tie it. That's how they're done in a lorry.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
So 2 straps, tanker them down to the ground. Wait, what way did you do it?
Like 2 U's.
Oh, you were pulling again them.
They're trying to pull them to the centre. And then I was thinking the straps would hold them from going left or right, but because it's so fluid, it can just cut in, and it then loosens and falls, and it's a pure fucking balls, like.
Oh, fair enough. Okay.
But you only learn this when you do these things. So look, it's
you're not joking. You're not joking. I forgot even to mind you that we have made silage this year as well.
Aye. Oh, aye. I was there.
That's right. You goes to me, sure, we'll go around the Halfordies. And I was like, lad, I have silage to go on.
Aye, well, Halford ended up getting melons, so.
He didn't want to see us anyway.
I don't think he could see us.
Well, there's that too. Here's you worried about how fucking short of a podcast that's going to be. What are we on now?
But about an hour, like. Yeah, and we still have the
pure
question.
shite.
Pure shit.
Well, look.
It is a filler episode, like, so.
You're really getting just a conversation
Yeah,
from us.
yeah.
But no, yeah, so...
So tell me more about this very small thing you did in the most detail you can, Conor, to try and get extra time out of this podcast.
So, the Ploughing Championships there last year.
And on what date at what time?
I don't know. It was around October time, you know, there. I think, well, the father has always... It's a bike.
There's a bike.
Scrambler.
Well, it is. I thought there was a V12 there, but it sounds, but yeah, it's definitely a scrambler.
So, around the Ploughing Championship time, father's always wanted a Bale tiller. If you want the long-winded version of this, are you...
No. You've already said about the Bale trailer anyway in the pod.
So, anyway, Bale tiller got its first run out at Bale's.
Yes.
It's already got a run out doing other stuff.
Yes, it took the tin to my house.
Yes, it took the tin to your house, but also before that, it was used as a storage facility for a while.
Right.
So we put square bales of straw on it for a while.
Okay, yeah.
Because we needed more room for calves, because one born every minute and all that.
Yeah, of course.
But
Where are
anyway,
you getting the straw from?
I don't know.
Okay. great chat, Conor.
To be honest. Father does a deal with somebody, and then straw appears.
Fair enough.
Where does it come out of? Don't know.
Does it appear in a lorry?
It actually does.
Probably
to be fair.
Wexford.
Yeah, I think it is
probably
Wexford.
Wexford.
Yeah. So, the Bale got used for the first time. We tractor pulled it. You would know all about it. Have I used the Bale tiller yet? No.
I was very surprised that your dad was actually keen to let me use it.
So was I, to be fair, but we'll not go there.
You were offloading, and the way he had it parked, you wouldn't have been able to get at the last couple of bales easily. So I jumped on the tractor and moved it back. And then the next thing I was like, right, well, no one's here. Conor's out there. I was like, fuck it, I'll reverse this bale trailer out of the shed. Now it was dark and I was absolutely shitting myself because my experience with bale trailers wouldn't be overly phenomenal. And this thing's about 4 foot longer than that cane I was using that time.
No, only 2 foot. 2
Oh,
foot
it's only
longer.
2 foot longer?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Well, and it's a brand new trailer and I didn't want to be the one to put a mark on it. So anyway, reversed it out of the shed.
To be honest with you, I got a phone call before you had done this, and it was just hurry up and go and get the rest of them bales brought up the road. And I was like, right, no bother, and just watch that skull and boy with that chiller, just don't mark her. And then I was like,
oh shit. So then the next thing I reversed out and I was waiting to see Paddy stand there and go, right, get you out of that tractor, new trailer, and I'd have went, here, no bother. Absolutely. Or I was waiting
he was in his bed.
Yeah, or I was waiting on you saying, here, take you the creamer down the road, I'll drive the trailer. And I was like, which I would have done fine too.
Not the fuck did I give a shit about that.
Well, I reversed out and went, okay, there's nobody here. And there was you already driving away on up the lane. And I was like, guess we're on our own here.
I'll tell you one thing. See, whenever you came in with the second load of bales, you cut it very tight to the fence in the house.
Really?
Oh my god, I can mind going like fuck, don't take it out. Don't. See where the gate to the field is? You took that wild tight. Like really tight.
Oh, on the left hand side?
Aye.
Oh, yeah, I did. And do you know why I done that?
I don't know,
because I was too feared of the tail swing and hitting something on the other side.
Oh, no. I was looking at it wasn't the tail swing you had to worry about. The trailer followed you really well.
Yeah, no, I see that. I seen that, yeah. Because I looked behind me and went, oh, I'm close there. It was fine, like, I probably put that much away, like, but...
Yeah, but still...
on a new trailer, that's... But I was more worried about the tail swing, so I came in and took it, because I know with a Bale trailer, you nearly have to drive them more... You don't drive them like a silage trailer. Because you've got far more tail swing, as I learnt at Pat Close's that time.
Well, look...
Probably.
You haven't really had much to
I've
learn
had
on, if that makes sense.
Very little experience driving a Bale trailer.
So...
Very, very little. And then even before that, I think I was using the D-Mac, the D-Engineering one, which is a bit shorter again.
It is 18 foot.
She's only 18 foot. And then I used the key and it was 22.
And then that Bailey's 24.
That Bailey's 24. Like,
she's fucking even... She's wider than the Keane too.
She's nice trailer, but...
I don't know what she like to tow with. What does she like to tow with?
It's grand, no?
It's just a trailer.
Just a trailer, yeah.
So...
she's solid, like.
I'd like to think she would be solid.
Yeah.
She's not got a solid drawbar though.
Is she not a solid drawbar?
No, she's sprung drawbar.
Is she sprung drawbar?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought she was a solid drawbar.
No, she's sprung drawbar.
I was thinking she'd push you on very easily.
She's sprung axles too.
Oh, is she?
Well, like, do you know the way she sat in the wee tractor? She was nearly very...
Pointing down.
Yeah. It was literally like she levitated up out of the field, because I thought, because of the bit of a ramp out, that she would be sort of nosediving down, and that I was afraid of Bale running after her or something.
No,
because
I was a wee bit scared of that myself. But just getting on to Dyna, is it Dyna 4s and that wee?
Yes.
Yeah. About 3 working days between ranges, like.
Aye, but that's the wee tractor though. That's the old style gearbox.
Literally, you change it, like, and it's like you go from 3B or 2B, 2C, and you want to flicker up, say, to like 3C, clutch and push, and she'd move up a range.
You press the wee button at the back and that button.
You can do both. I was playing about with both.
Oh, right.
But going up a range, I wanted to differentiate, so I stuck with clutch because it just felt more normal for me. I know, because like on a New Holland range command, you just press the wee button at the back and just flicker up. But I just that took a bit of time to get used to, and then just knowing what range you were in. And I know I wasn't pulling a heavy load, but I didn't want to pull the clutch out of the tractor either.
Well, clutch pack.
Yeah. But I didn't want to put damage in it and blow it out of her, like.
Oh, you wouldn't have. There's obviously safety things and
fair,
but.
I suppose it is clutch pack, isn't it? So it's not.
Yeah. You can't pull it out of it.
Aye, but you could be in the wrong range, or then you could end up. My fear as well was maybe like
you are afraid too much. You couldn't break it if you tried. You're just used to scrap. No, and you can break scrap handy.
I'm used to either full manual or full power command. Range command is something I've always struggled with, because I just never like, and I like the John Deere's. I like power quad. I shouldn't be saying this, but I like power quad because you can choose your gear, so you kind of know where you're at. Like, you're like, oh, I'm in 3C or C3 or whatever, and it's like, right, I can flicker down D, like pull her into D, and then you're in D3, and then you can maybe go D4, and then as soon as you get a bit more up the road, then bang, E4 or whatever, or you can do it like that, and it's that I find's the best. Like, I like doing that with the gears and the John Deere.
You just need a day in it.
Aye, probably. If I had a day in your 6.7, I'd probably be alright, like, but like, I'd say I've done a grand total of 2 hours driving in your 6.7 the entire time it's been.
Yeah, I've only done about 2 hours this year, to be fair. But no, so we had a paddock, because it's a bit strong for the cows, and it made more sense to mow it down so that the cows weren't going in and tramping it down.
Yeah, absolutely. And eating stemmy grass.
No, not even. It's still right in good quality.
Aye, but it had grew too far forward. It had been stemmy hard
would
grass.
have ruined itself. So,
yeah.
And then so
you're getting it actually at the right time now. If you get fertilizer or slurry straight on the ground there, which I know you have, like, that'll see in 2 weeks' time, that'll be right up.
And then there's another paddock we've took out, so that's probably another job for today. Don't think we'll be using the Bale trailer. Probably just put the single Bale lifter on the tractor, because don't think the Bale trailer will come out of the field.
Do you want me to bring my Bale lifter up as well?
Do you have a Bale lifter? Do you want to have a job this afternoon?
I can do, if it helps speed things. The only thing about my Bale lifter is,
all you need to do is be able to lift the Bale and set it down. You don't need to be able to tip it or anything.
There's a thing that's bent. My leveling arm at the back of my tractor's bent, so it might sit like that a wee bit. It's not too bad, but it's
If we beat it with a sledgehammer,
you'd be as well just cutting it with a grinder and turning it manually.
okay. Well, even the wee bale, you could even bring the bale lifter down if you didn't mind, and you could throw it in one of our tractors.
Aye,
and you could have more time in the wee tractor.
Yeah,
With the bale
that's
lifter.
probably actually how many bales do we have to lift?
Would there be maybe 15?
Fuck, you do it with one tractor. I can bring up my bale lifter if you want though. It's there, like it's there for taking. Like you can
Put it this way: worst case scenario, you can leave it in the back of the 110 on Monday.
Aye.
Yeah.
Take it home. Aye, that's all right.
What I was going to say, because it'd be at least a bit of fun, and she might wheelie. Well, she shouldn't wheelie with the weights on.
My 110? Not a chance. She doesn't even wheelie with a fusion bale on normally.
This is a Conor McLaren bale now.
Darren Mullen bale is fairly hefty too.
His is nearly a ton weight.
Well, Darren's a bit about
His is
800.
nearly
So.
too fucking heavy because you look at them the wrong way, they burst.
Oh, okay.
They're a good bale,
Not
but
good advertising for Conor there. He's not going to help me listening to that. But
I'm maybe bad at handling the marshmallows.
Conor McLaren. It's Conor McGowan's fault, not yours.
Yeah.
Stay strong, Chief. Keep making them big bales.
Well, to be fair,
He is going to hear it.
they didn't sink though.
No.
To be
no.
fair, they actually didn't sink from last year. But yeah, so we have another paddock there cut. Bale triller. How do you review something that you've never actually used? It was green and I didn't
It's
scratch
green
it
and
yet.
it's got massive wheels.
It does actually have fucking massive
huge
wheels.
wheels on it. Massive.
I'd
But
love to see them wheels on your
Fraser.
for the crack of it.
Fucking hell. Should need about 3 foot cut out of the chassis.
Probably wouldn't.
Yeah.
Would she?
Nah, I should need a bit cut. All right. Apparently, it completely changes them as a trailer if you put flotations on them.
Why?
Makes them 10 times easier to pull. Apparently.
I would find that strange.
I just going by what boys have said on a forum on Facebook. So, will we move on to the main topic, which is
Well, you see, I want to finish on a good note. So the Bailey was good job.
Yes.
We haven't got the rear bar made for it yet.
Yes.
I have the 90-degree bends and all that sorted out, but we just haven't got it made yet. Just Gemma messaging to say that she has arrived in Japan.
good.
I'm just going to bed in the middle of the day. Michael, to be fair, I never actually asked this question before, but see if the Sierra did break, where would you
Again.
get bits for it?
CDM Sport.
CDM Sport?
Yeah. So if I needed a turbo, because that can happen, I would go to Conor at CDM Sport. If I need a clutch, radiator, pretty much anything, suspension parts, whatever. Basically any drift spares at all.
So what you're saying is it's a one-stop shop for engine swap cars and for the odd bits and bobs that you need.
Absolutely. I just wish that Conor's shop was available 7 years ago when I started building all this stuff. So CDM Sport has kindly taken on the podcast as a sponsor, and in fairness, he has been very helpful with me even in recent times. I do think that it's a worthwhile business to go and see what Conor can do for you.
So everyone, get on to cdmsport.life for all your motor needs. So yeah, we should kick off into the main topic of conversation.
So I have it all loaded up here.
I
I'm
have
hoping
not.
we have everything. There's been a few questions have come through, it's kind of a bit repeat, and then we'll kind of do. So I remember I'd started to do a thing called Thoughts for the Community. So I'm going to add a couple of these in at the end as a thought for the community, quote unquote. But we'll go through the questions. So, God, do you know what? That was Chat GPT on that poster for me.
I can't fucking get it up here to it.
You should probably take a tablet for that.
What?
He said I can't get it up here for him, and I said you should probably take a tablet for that.
I didn't mean the dick. But I'll tell you one thing, you're being a dick. Doesn't take a tablet to fucking raise you, does it?
Well, maybe the tablets
backfire on you, fucker.
Maybe the tablets would maybe help me calm me down, but no, I made that. I run on the chat. So, see, with work and with a few things recently, I actually have the paid version of ChatGPT.
Fuck off.
I swear.
You've the paid version of
Chat.
TGP.
ChatGPT. Yeah, great job. I use it for work. You see, it's actually quite good for sale.
That's very cool, actually.
It's so literally, I typed in.
That's a much better one than the last one.
Yeah,
that you
but
did.
that's because that's the paid version. So the other one was free and it had spelling mistakes and all on it, and I had to edit it. This one here, I literally said, "Can you make me a poster that says limit slip differences, Ask Community 2.0 with a hint of drifting and agriculture?" And then it said, "Yeah, what do you want?" And I said, "Portrait and hint of green," because the last one was red. So this one's green. So
you have a boy
drifting in S15.
Yes.
On a dirt road with I don't know, it looks like an Belarus or something like that in the background.
A boy's working in the field and the boy's drifting around him in the field.
Yes, it's class. Like, I'd seen that and I was like, that's actually deadly. So it's not actually one of the most reached posts we've had. It's only got 66% post reach, and
I think that's 67 people that has reached.
I have seen it, yeah. Which is unusual because normally they're sitting about 300 and whatever. Maybe, I don't know. But the first one is Regan Bailey from New Zealand.
Oh, is that where he's from?
Yeah, he's New Zealand.
Fuck, fair play to him.
He wrote to me, to the page, goals you'd like to reach with your cars over the next 3 years. Very, very broad question, dailies included.
I'd maybe like to map the Civic, to be honest with you, in the next 3 years. If the money's there. In regards to the Golf, I'll probably end up mapping that too, to be honest with you. The other thing I'd say I would like to do, this is all money orientated, and to be honest with you, big man stag do here is probably see the money I could spend mapping the cars. Well, unfortunately, going to probably be spending that weekend.
Stag do, like, yeah.
So, and Gemma's probably going to be turning my head at some stage too.
Yes. Yep. When your mates all start dropping like flies, there's normally the one standing there going.
Yes.
Yeah, like so. For anyone on Spotify who wonder what I was doing, I was pointing at my left wrist, pretending it was a watch, and then pointing at my left third finger.
You see, I bought an iPad there last year around October time, and iPad cost about £1,000. Great job. Then all Gemma had to say was, "Is that my fucking ring?"
Yeah.
And she had every right to say that.
You know what? You're just better off getting it over and done with, and then putting it back for another couple of years. Just going, yeah, but you got your ring, and then just, what about the wedding? We'll get it booked at some point. At least they've got the ring. So,
but no, I would say I'd love to, if I map the Civic, I'd be hard finished, and then really the only thing I need to do is time and chain. But time and chain is very expensive too. To be honest, I need a fucking MOT it.
It's hard done. Hard getting them.
And Golf, I'd like to actually put PS5s in both of them.
Okay.
Just good tyres.
Big grand, but fair enough.
As boring as that sounds, don't really like. The Civic has now got a stage, because obviously I'm 30 now. I'm not going to say age is much of a thing to do with it, but I've owned the car now, which is kind of mad, 4.5 years. Like it's fun for a day, and then it gets old. Like if it was MOT'd, it would be in the shed again. I have no real mad want to drive it anywhere.
The Rally probably.
The Rally, like I would literally be sitting in the shed to the Rally.
Rally or the Port. I'm like that with the Sierra now too.
In regards to the Golf, just fucking love it to bits.
Same as me. That's the thing, when you get a daily that has a bit of power and it's nice to be in. Like, I love driving the Amarok. Like, a set of two new Bridgestones in the front of her, because that's what was on her. So I have a new set, and I put a set in the rear at some point, but they're big enough.
You need mud flaps.
I do need mud flaps.
And
I
you
need
need
mud
a
flaps,
front
and I need a
bar.
front bar. That's what I'd like to do.
The front bar is £170.
Yeah, 205 I thought.
Aye, 170 plus VAT.
I can get the VAT back, commercial vehicle and all that.
And mud flaps.
I
Storm
do.
accessories do.
I know they do. I know they do. I would need to do that, to be fair, because there's
that
actually...
would literally finish your Jeep.
Yeah.
And wind deflectors.
Nah, I'm happy enough with no wind deflectors.
Would stuck on wind deflectors look well on them?
Okay. Well, yeah, maybe. So that's the Amarok. Sierra, I take so many notions. 1 week's going to be a drift car. Like, I don't know, I'm chatting to another listener, Kieran O'Reilly, and we are talking about a plan because he's got a Sierra too and he wants to do his own conversion and all to it. We were thinking of maybe, I'd talked about this before, but coming up with a body kit idea. The only problem I see it is, and I've said this to Kieran already, is that it's not commercially viable. It's one of them things where if you made it, you would go, okay, well, this is literally just mine, because Sierras are one of them cars that, like, in this country especially, nobody is going to do anything different with them, and in Eastern Europe they're not going to pay like Irish prices for stuff by the time you import it and all too. So something he talked about doing, and we talked about maybe sharing the costs. 1 minute I'm thinking about putting Strom DS35s on, the next minute I'm thinking about rebuilding my works. The reality is I'll probably do neither and just keep the body clubs.
If you were fit to get a set of 17,
even 18-inch Stroms, DS35s.
18s be too big.
I see, everyone says that, and I do agree to an extent, but if it was kitted...
No.
Yes.
It is kitted.
No, if it was kitted, like a big body kit.
Oh, right. In my own personal opinion, it's obviously your car. I'm too fucking old fashioned. Like,
I just like seeing. I've always loved the idea of seeing like a BN style kit or something. Like the same way boys do them in the BMs, like E36s and E46s look class with them. Why can't a Sierra?
But a Sierra is totally different again.
People would have said that about BMs too, I'm sure, at a point. They're still a rear wheel drive car, you can drift.
True.
Like, and it's still the P100, which will be more original looking, you know. So, Sierra, we'll see what the crack is with that. Really what I'd like to do is get the Lexus out. Get it. I want it left perfect, to be honest. So, she's...
When are you taking into it?
This winter. The P100 can sit. I'm happy enough for it to sit for a while. I have a lot of stuff for the Lexus. I just need to get the bell housing sorted, and I have because I've got the coilovers, I've got the wheels, I have so much stuff there. The only thing I need is the bell housing and the control module, and take into it, get it mechanically correct, and then, to be honest, like all Lexuses, she is starting to go in a couple of wee places. She is clean. Sills are fine. They're starting to bubble a wee bit, but I want it left absolutely right.
Yeah.
Because it's one I would like to maybe either raffle that car or sell it off.
Yeah.
And if I'm doing that, I want it to be like nobody can fault it. Because at the end of the day, if you're doing it through the podcast, I'm putting the podcast's name against it. So spending an extra £400 to leave it completely right, in my opinion, is well worth the money. Yes, it's a bit maybe less of your profit margin, but at least you're not seen as a hooky bastard. So I'd like to do that, the Lexus. I don't know if I've talked about this, I've actually bought a full running Saab 9.3.
You have? Mm-hmm. When did you buy this?
About a month ago.
I didn't know either, to be honest.
I bought a full running Saab 9.3. It's in the south. Got it for handy enough money. It's a full car, cats and everything in it.
Right.
I have basically the...
What engine's in it?
Saab B204.
Is it a turbo one?
Yes.
What are you going to do with it?
For the Cavalier. Straight, literally drop everything. Because I have my other engine lying up at Ali's, but that's which is the engine that was in the Cavalier. But to be honest, I've pulled that much out. I don't remember what's what. So I was thinking, I have a load of stuff lying, and I'll end up with so many spares. But there's other things like although my car mainly.
So really, you're going to take the engine and all out.
Take the engine,
and put it in the Cavalier and leave the Cavalier going.
Yep.
You want to drive the Cavalier then for a wee bit?
I would like to sell it too, but I would
eventually sell it. I
would like the money from the Lexus to paint the Cavalier. If I could afford to do them both at the one time, great, but can't see that happening. Then once that's done, I'll sort out the P100. I can set it's going nowhere so. And now I have an Amarok, I don't even really care. But the P100, the argument for the P100 was the fact that it was useful. But now I have the Amarok, so the P100
not really that useful.
Yeah, so it's not even. Becca loves it, so it's never going anywhere. It'll always stay, but it's more likely to stay than the Sierra, to be quite honest.
Really?
Yeah. So that's my plans. Talk about it enough. I'll talk about it more. But you're yawning, Conor. Andrew Muldrew, biggest farm / automotive fuck up. I mean, I think for me the turbo is probably as good as you're going to get with regards to the cars. With the farming, this is a while ago. It's my first ever time drawing silage. I was in a 740,
Right.
and I was coming down the road. I may or may not have had a licence, and I come down the road and I was turning into the field with a wee Fraser trailer on, one similar size as this is the wee one I have.
Yeah.
And I
Forgot you had a trailer on.
No, a lorry was coming our way, and I'd never really driven on the road other than the wee 35. It was first time with a trailer on, and it's a really fast bit of road. It's that bit of road where, do you know as you're coming past the dump heading towards mine?
Right.
Big straight bit of road. Yeah, there. And there was a field, and you could kind of come down and round in yourself. And I kind of took a bit of fear coming in. There was a lorry coming up my arse, and I took a bit of fear and turned into the field too quickly. And the trailer went like, boom, like sort of pendulumed, and then just absolutely wiped out a gate post in a gate. First time ever drawing grass, like. Yeah, yeah. I've seen now your man has widened the gate post, and he's like that because you have to come down off the road. It's actually a bit of a bollocks to get out of. What they actually do now is, if you're coming out with a load of grass, you don't come out that gate. You drive up to the top and come down the lane and out, because you turn back in yourself. It is a pure balls. But it sees it all levelled up to try and get widened. So, yeah, that's. I don't know if it's the biggest fuck up, but it's definitely the one that stands by me, and that was 15, 16 years ago. Look.
Is this my turn now?
Yes.
Biggest farm fuck up. Very simple mistake, to be honest, and it comes into my head there. So, milk that comes from the cows goes into a collection jar at the front of the parlour, and it is then pumped to the tank.
Yes.
Through a plate cooler and that. But before it goes through a plate cooler, there's a wee tap. And if that wee tap's opened, all the milk goes down the drain.
I know where this is going. I don't think you really need to tell the rest of that story, to be quite honest.
Hasn't happened once, it's happened multiple times.
You don't learn from your mistakes, no?
No, you do. You just put it this way. It's a bad job whenever 3 rows of cows are in the slurry tank, not in the tank.
I'll not help things.
No.
It's a wild
And you have, an eccentric father comes in and lets you know that it's not in the right position. And it's a bad job whenever it's pumping it out like fuck. And the whole floor of the dairy is white. It's milk. So that would be the biggest. I'm thinking, yes, I've broke this or I've broke that. Nothing too mad, like
the loader.
To be fair, as my dad said to me after it, I was like, with all due respect, like, you're probably not really meant to take a loader off with just pallet forks on. It's not that heavy.
No.
And he went, well, your brother's fitted you. And I was like, well, it did come off, it just happened to break. And probably that bit has been waiting to break for a while.
Yeah.
Only it only ever happens with me. But it was like 40 quid to fix the loader. It's not too bad. It's different whenever it's like 150 pounds of milk. Yeah. In regards to automotive fuck up,
probably the night we put the coilovers in your Polo. Or the night that your car fell off the jack.
That was annoying. That was annoying. Sure, I had to end up saying that somebody at Greenmount had fucking hit the car with their toe. Like, why would they kick a sill and then a sill specifically? But it was a story for another day, I suppose. Yeah, I suppose that's. Haven't really had that many, To be fair, because I don't really go head first into things.
Yeah.
I'm really boring sounding compared to you. If that makes sense.
And I'm quite boring compared to some people I know. Like, if you had Danny Toland on the podcast, like, fucking hell.
Yeah, he just puts fluid into his cooling system, and it doesn't matter what type of fluid it is.
My plan is pre-Donegal, I want Danny and Sheila Hearn to come back.
Yeah.
Which I think would be a good episode.
It would.
With all Sierra men as well. Hopefully my car will be ready. We can do a few wee things in the yard with the 3 cars too. Next one then is Kieran O'Reilly.
Best things in the Irish car scene. Your pet peeves about the Irish car scene. Irish
/ Northern Irish, same car scene, same island, etc.
Just being, I suppose, politically correct there. Best things. I'd say part of it is like say events, right? There's not really many places in the world where you can go and the likes of Letterkenny at around the Donegal rally weekend happens. Whenever, like, you think about it, you have everything from a Golf to a D-Turbo
to an S15
to Jap cars.
Yep.
Put it down on paper, it shouldn't work, but it does. And I suppose even the other, I don't know, there's the other thing I would say, I suppose, is like there's not many places in the world that everybody does their cars up the exact same way.
So that's
that Irish spec way.
That's both one of the best things and a pet peeve of mine.
Never a pet peeve of me at all. No.
I like individuality, but
we can tell with your car you like individuality.
I like individuality, but I also like more people being individual or trying something different or finding a second recipe. Like in this country, if you have a Sierra, it's Cosy kit, Cosy wheels. If you have a twin cam, it's UK spec Revos or Superlights. If it's an E36, it's M3 kitted.
Yes.
If it's a Lexus,
Type R, it's standard wheels, Mugen spoiler.
Lexuses are kind of a bit different, and that's why I quite like the Lexuses, because you can have
but Jap cars are the only real exception.
But you can now do it with BMs as well, just not in this country. Some of the drifty boys are doing it, but general road going cars and E36s, nobody's doing the big body kits.
But I don't think
But I think with the big kits, you need to have the big power to match. In my opinion, you need to have. I think
there's a cheap thing to a road going kit it. There's a bit of a cheap thing to the kits. Without being a dick, I nearly find that them Jap style kits in the BMWs, yes, they do work in a drift car, don't get me wrong, but they're a wee bit
much
off looking. They don't fully suit the car for a road car thing. You know,
I think
they're like 95% of the way there, but it feels like there's something missing.
I think a lot of that could be maybe people cheaping out, like a Musk kit. If you ever look at the Musk custom stuff, the stuff that's done properly right is absolutely class looking.
Okay.
Like they do it on the M3, the E46 M3s and all, and it is unbelievable. Like the stuff they do is absolutely class. Like look it up, it is done right. Like whenever Donut Media done the Jap kit on their E36, it looked unbelievable. But people sometimes, I think, kind of cheaping out on them, and it doesn't look right. Or they just get a lip and don't get a bumper.
Okay.
Or just get skirts. It doesn't look right. You need to go. It's one of them things I think you need to go all out, or just don't do it at all.
To be fair, like, you mightn't like me for saying this, but Rob Bill's old AST100, it really ragged me that he had a V2 bumper and BN side skirts.
Yeah, did he not have a BN front bumper on it originally? But was it always V2?
Always V2.
I thought it was originally BN as well, and then it was too low.
That was, again, it's only my own opinion. Like,
you're thinking the mixture of sort of Jap and felt kind of.
Calvin's car would look right if it was a V1 front bumper with the side skirts he has.
I agreed. Yeah,
Like, and that's not taking in, that's just a personal opinion. Like, you know, he could turn around and say your type R looks like every other one. I'd be like, you're fucking right, it does. You know, I'd be the first to admit that.
I don't know what
Pet peeves of the thing.
TikToks. Young cubs and TikTok.
No, I can't say that as a pet peeve.
Not
I'll tell
when they
you
can't
why.
understand that your car is cold. You can't.
No. Like, to be honest with you, right, any time I have ever been anywhere, and I've been to more of them meets and stuff recently than yourself, because you have other things on, and like, say I've had a free Saturday, and you know, like, as soon as you say that the car's cow, like, they will leave you alone for a while. I found anyway. I have never encountered a young cub yet that, you know, doesn't know the meaning of a cow engine. And every time I've done it for any young cub, he's always actually said thank you after, to be fair. But like, if you don't have them there, like, well, there's Corey Crawford. Like, yes, takes dogs abuse. People are not nice to him for every reason. But if there was no Corey Crawford there, then who would they be? Who would be taking the videos?
The only thing I would say about that, and I don't want to say too much because I don't want to get myself in hot water or anything, but Corey was taking videos of people like there's a cub and a Clio doing like a rollback and then doing a big handbrake turning Lansdowne.
Yes.
Didn't blur the plates.
The person in that car should know better.
Yeah, as an idiot. Completely agree.
I understand that they're getting their...
But it's videos like that go online that the police then look at and go, oh shit, well, we have to do something about this.
Yes.
The reason why stuff wasn't targeted near as much years ago is because
nothing was on social media.
Out of sight, out of mind. They're up there doing something. Sure, they're up there. Now it's a case of we have to be seen to be doing something about this. And plus, as you've seen, as we talked about in the last episode, there's more. If one bad thing happens, more bad things start happening because people start pushing boundaries, and then it would end up being completely lawless. So you have to respect what the cops do and all as well. Obviously, you want a certain degree of like getting away with shit, but like,
I'd say pet peeve is the ones that ruin it for everyone else.
Agreed, absolutely. Like the boy in your Clio doing handbrake turns in Lansdowne in the middle of the day.
You're always going to get someone,
because that's the person who's probably, a lot of the time, my biggest pet peeves, the ones that actually did the most messing about, and I've said this in numerous podcasts before, is the ones who are driving their mum's cars. They don't give a shit.
No.
Whereas the ones driving the lowered cars, typically, it's their own car, typically out of their own pocket. And like, those are the ones who are driving slower. Like, anyone I ever seen driving the most reckless was always an R driver.
What
in a bog standard
me
car.
Is this, like, if you go to any of these things or the, you know, PSNI are basically posting up, we have conducted an operation and all this. No offence, but you know, there's a weekend. We know there's going to be a cruise or a meet or something on. And we've opened everything up because we know we're going to get money. Realistic.
Yep.
But anyway, they conduct their operation, and we've seen so many cars or whatever have faults. Like, I drove about in a Polo for well over 100,000 miles with springs that could have fell out, but never did.
See, that's one of the things.
You never it does happen, but a lot of these accidents in these on-roadworthy cars and all are like, because of modifications. Now, yes, I have known people that have driven about in very dodgy-ish cars, but there's not many accidents I would have said happening with lowered cars.
No, not really.
And nobody...
Apart from that, maybe there was one there recently, I think it was on the A5, 2 young cubs and boars racing each other.
Well, that's, you know, they were...
And there was one on Derry, I think, recently as well, where a couple of young ones were racing each other. Like,
yeah.
Pack it in. Don't be fucking stupid. Especially, both of them were racing. One of them was racing, the two boys were racing like 4 o'clock on a Thursday or something, and the one in Derry, they were racing at like 9 o'clock at night. Like, both of them times are peak times for, like, just don't do it. Like, that's just fucking stupid. Like, that is stupid. I'm not going to sit and say like, oh, you could do X, Y, and Z. I'm no angel, you're no angel, but you don't do that shit. Like,
there's one thing in me getting into the EP3 and driving around a bit in a road of no when there's nobody about.
Mm-hmm.
And if you come to a corner, you know, to be smart enough to drop a gear and go around at a reasonable speed, that you know that you can anticipate something. You know, like, I'll be perfectly honest, I drove up to the sisters and went to country roads, and I was sitting in second gear near VTEC and bottom third gear, a lot of it, and that's like 50 miles an hour.
Yeah.
But like, as soon as I came near a corner, I was slackening off.
Well, me and you used to stay beside the Alteza and the Type R all the time.
Yes.
But it was never excessive.
No.
Genuinely, to be fair, jokes aside, it was never excessive because both of us drive for work and we're both shit feared of losing our licenses.
Well, there's no point in it.
And like, I mean, you shouldn't technically be doing over 7. I won't do over 100 because that's instant ban. Like,
it's instant court case.
Yeah, like, I just won't. Like, it's...
Or if you're double the speed limit, technically, yeah.
I just won't do it. And I don't typically...
For funny, on the A1 there was a car caught recently and it was doing, if I'm thinking correctly, it was in the 60 and it was doing 89 or something. And they were like, if they were 1 mile in or more, they were court case because it would have been 50% over the speed limit. There you go.
I know. The time I got caught in the Sierra, I was lucky. I was doing 58, only because I'd done a third gear pull coming up to I mean, the road was empty, but you can't argue with the... As I said, I met the speed van twice that day. It turns out I met it 3 times. So to round up, pet peeves. What do we like about this country? Recipes work, and the car scene in general is really, really good. Pet peeves, dickheads that ruin it for everybody else.
Pretty much.
I think we can both agree on that.
Pet peeves is, with the influx of people putting stuff on social media, it has been great because you're getting attention.
But it brings more bad.
But at the same time, you're getting now folk from further afield that are coming to experience it.
Well, we talked about that in the last podcast as well, so...
Jasper has said, what's the general consensus with Donegal this year with Rally of the Lakes being so strict? Do you feel that Letterkenny might be similar, and do you see places shutting down more to be more strict?
I think Rally of the Lakes was more wild with road diffing.
Well, there's nowhere to go.
Yeah, that seems to be the general consensus with the Rally of the Lakes. Is for years people got away with a lot of things. Donegal, you've got King of the Cone. You don't really hear that much about people doing back roads, and if you try to go to Knockalla, you're going to get chased. Simple as that. So, like, yeah, I find general thumb, Donegal, the police are actually pretty tolerant. I think they're quite hard on the Thursday night, is what I've noticed, because they're trying to send out a message for the weekend. So I think they go in quite hard on the Thursday night.
In regards to?
Just coming down on people, because the town's less busy. So ones that fuck about and maybe try and hoop it around about or mess about in the town, or cars that are extremely dodgy looking, they will pull them. And it's kind of set a precedent for the weekend of going like, look, we're taking no shit. But, like, what I liked about Donegal was you could come out of Abergrim and sit and hit the limiter and backfire and anti-lag all day long, and they wouldn't say tickety-boo to you as long as you don't break traction. And I, to be honest, completely agree with that.
Do you mind in the walkie-talkies 2 years ago, you were in with me and there was a fella in a Type R, and I was driving the car anyway, and he came out and I literally
did a wheel pull.
I did. He spun the wheels and straight away lights were on, and by the time we had actually got up to him, he had been booked and all that crack. And then we were like, well, how'd you get on? He was like, 6 points and 100 or something euro fine. And then you were like, but was it worth it? He was like, abso-fucking-lutely.
Yeah, because
we do not condone any of this type of action.
We had walkie-talkies, and then they happened to be on the same channel as us, just for pure chance. That was quite funny, actually.
See, the way they do in Donegal, if rev away your car, yes, it's a fucking weekend. They're bringing savage money into the local economy. You know, every fucking house, hotel, B&B, everything's
Shop,
booked out.
everything.
Within
Bar,
30 minutes of
restaurant,
Letterkenny.
everything. Yeah,
you know,
chippy, whatever.
Donegal probably doesn't see the likes of it.
No.
You know, it's massive the amount of... So, if you're revving and you're making some young fellas day that way, happy days. If you end up putting her sideways or doing silly stuff, instead of saving up for King of the Cone and that, you should be getting booked.
Yeah, I agree. Like, look, as again I say, we're not all angels here, but if you're going to play with fire, expect to get burned, like,
pretty much.
You know, and like,
and around Letterkenny, it's playing with fucking fire with petrol.
Yeah,
you're definitely going to get burned.
I think the police, to be fair, the guards in Letterkenny are civil. Like, the way they let you get on, like, you wouldn't get that at the port. In the port, if you were sitting doing that revving and banging on the promenade, you get pulled and done. And Letterkenny, they don't care. They just look at it and laugh and just don't spin your wheels, don't break traction, don't be a cunt, essentially.
Pretty much.
Which I think's great.
Yeah.
Niall Finnerty, he has asked, Jap wheels on German cars and German wheels on Jap cars. Thoughts? Personally don't agree. I've thought about this one already.
Go on ahead. You're the wheel whore.
I think if you were to put a set of just normal looking BBSs, like say RSs or whatever, on an S14, it doesn't look great. But if you build them to a big spec, then they do. I think if you had like an S14 and it just had a set of like BBSs with like 1.5 inch, you know, like a set of 1.5 inch dishes or whatever, nothing too big, I think you'd look at it and go, no. But if it was sitting with like 4-inch dishes, maybe if it was wide bodied, and sitting with these massive dishes on a set of BBS RSs, it would look absolutely class. Same as if you had, say, a Bora on a set of, I don't know, a set of works, and they were very weak specs, because a lot of works are built for like the big negative offsets, and they were very weak specs. It wouldn't look great. But again, if you had a Bora sitting and you'd done the body work or whatever, and you were sitting on a set of big dishy like Meisters or whatever like that, like if you're Meisters are a perfect example. If you're running Meisters that basically have no lip, it wouldn't look that great. But if you were running Meisters with a massive dish, you would go, oh, that's class. Similarly though, if you had just stock Meisters on an S15 or whatever, you'd look at it and go, alright, yeah, it's grand.
To be honest though, take it away from 3-piece wheels and belt specs and all that.
Okay, well then
let's
talk OEM.
Could you, no. Right, T37s in a Bora.
Have to be a certain style. I think to do TE37s.
No, just imagine a felt spike Bora with TE37s. Could you get behind it?
Wouldn't look right. It'd have to be done up.
If they were silver on a, say, a grey Bora that was like, say a grey, a dolphin grey Bora.
Yeah.
With the US rub strips and all, Cartier front on her, and T37s in silver.
Wouldn't be the first choice of wheel I would go for.
No, but it's just a random Jap wheel, because like you could talk about working.
I'm talking about big dish.
Aye, but not every Jap wheel is big dish.
No, it's not. I don't think that would work. But then if you've
got your works down there that you're talking about, the Type R, they could work.
Yeah, on a Bora.
Aye.
They probably would work. The T5s would work. Like, you see some weird and wonderful things, like a set of, like, if you go to the older retro stuff, like a set of SSR Longchamps on a Mark II Golf, in my opinion, would look absolutely class.
Yes.
But with a set of, and at the same token, a set of like BBSs off a Mark II or something on a Glanza would also look really good. The retro stuff just works with retro old wheels. Similarly, you can put a Mark II Golf on Revos, and you could put a Glanza on Revos, and they'll both look good.
Yes. Trying to think then.
You can also put a Micra on Revos, and it looks absolutely class.
But again, that's a certain style.
Yeah. There's a 106 came up recently in my Facebook feed with a set of like 14-inch works or something on it, and it was deadly. It was decked. It was class looking. For me personally, I would.
Could you see? Well, here's a different way of putting it. Femens on an S chassis.
Not really. No. Like I said, a VFS 31s on an S15. No, I couldn't. But then, could you see a set of Stroms and a Bora? Or an A4? Or an A6? You know, a set of I've seen it done a couple of times, but a set of DS25s on an A6.
Oh no. To be fair, a set of DS35s, Coleman's 335i with a
It
white.
was wide bodied. Do you see what I'm saying here now?
No, but what I mean is, like, in certain scenarios, yes. In most scenarios, no. Because you could say about your car, like Holly Doherty's car was bagged. And, like...
Funny, that was the first car that came into my mind. I was like, thanks, Holly Doherty's crying now saying that. But they were better spec, and that's why it worked in her car.
Yeah, but that was bagged.
Yes.
If it was static, could be a different story.
Yeah.
But with all like due respect, like the likes of T37s or something probably could work because they're basically monoblock wheels. They're one piece.
But if I was doing a Bora with T37s, it would be more like a fatter tire kind of style.
No.
Like
No. But you still pretend it's just a normal fucking wheel. Like, stop trying to make the wheel fit, or the car fit the wheel, or the wheel fit the car.
My brain works.
Just like, you have to, like, the way I look at things now is VWs, Mark 4s have all went, everybody's going like D-turbos with them, so your Long Beaches are new Vulcans.
What's the nicest wheel on a Mark 4 platform? In my opinion, probably a cast wheel, probably a Rotiform TMB on a Mark 4. Put that on an S15.
Alfred's for me.
Okay, yeah, well, but again, would you put Alfred's on an S15?
No. To be fair, and the reason I'm saying this is because you have to be realistic. Rotas on a Golf?
That's been done.
No, not. I wouldn't though.
Naveen Sharma had an A4, B8 A4. Might have actually been a B7, I can't remember. It's a long time ago. On air with a set of Rota GTRs, and it was absolutely class looking.
Yes, but it was on air.
Yes, the fitment helps. You can get away with nearly anything if you're on fitment.
Yes, but you have to think of coilovers.
Yeah, it's not the
you
same.
have to think for 90% of the public.
Yeah.
Like, I've even seen that Chris that owns Blade, his Bora, he's put like these rare looking 17-inch wheels in his car. I can't remember what name they are, or what they come on.
I thought he bought Long Beaches.
Oh yeah, it's Long Beaches, but that's what I mean. Like, everybody's going for the 17-inch wheel in Mark 4s. I don't
Get
know
some
why
lower.
the fuck they, huh?
Get some lower shallow, dark side shallow sump and engine raisers.
But they still would burst them. To be honest with you, I would prefer 18s on them.
I prefer 18s with him, but that's because we're a bit older school.
Like Joey Brennan's old Mark 4 Golf with Dead Eye with
Yeah, she was cool.
With Land Rovers. You know.
But I like 19-inch RS6s on a Mark 4 Golf, like, so. Oh,
Too big,
love them.
too big.
Love them.
Too big.
Love them. What is open? But my phone's actually.
To be fair, Owen Maguire's Hitch came up.
She was
with the
lethal.
Lions.
She was lethal.
Yes, but I only really realised there recently that she looked like she was in fucking 21530 or 40s.
18535s.
No, in the back they were far bigger tyres.
They were 19540s in the rear.
Not nice compared. Like, if I would have said tyres the same all around, but he was going for not felt specs.
I ran 18535s all around. Then I put a set of 19540s all around on the Lions, and it didn't look right. So then I went back to another set of 18535s in the front and 19540s in the rear. The difference in them was quite big. I sold them without tyres in the end, I think.
To who?
Danielle McGee at the time. She's now Danielle McGee. She married Paddy McGee, so from Mahadeo. So
whereabouts them wheels at now, do you know?
Couldn't tell you.
No idea.
I'd love to know. I wouldn't buy them back, like, but I'd love to know.
In all genuine seriousness, if you could find decentish D turbo, that'd be some.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Would you buy a D turbo?
Buy a 405. Or a Zara. Or a sedan, to be fair. Do you know what? I would buy an L. Yeah, I would. Absolutely. I would. David Nesbitt, serious question. Would you rather have fingers for legs or legs for fingers? Fingers for legs because they're more flexible.
Depends if it's just if that's what you're thinking, because I spent too long thinking about it yesterday and didn't know what to think of it.
Porrig Leonard, what's the one car you'd sell the Civic Sierra for if it gave you enough along with your own cash to buy? Doesn't have to be the actual cash, but but the car has to be good enough to make you want to sell your own to buy it. I thought about this.
So the one car I'd sell Type R for.
Have it come up. Or swap.
Oh, honestly, a twin cam.
That's exactly what I would. I would swap my car.
What would you go for? I'd probably white over black 84.
84 blue or red over black. 86.
It's probably the only car I'd be like, I can't not do that.
I would.
Because twin cams will never not be cool.
If anyone's listening to this, I genuinely would swap my Saab turbo 503 horsepower Sierra with every fucking bell and whistle and thousands, well over 30 grand spent on it. I would swap that for a twin cam. For a 16 4AG 115 horsepower car, I would. Genuinely, I would have a twin cam. I'd love to have both. Excuse me, I'd love to have both.
One car I would actually buy, if I could gather up the money for it in the next 5 years, I'd either have a Mark IV Golf or a D turbo.
I'm keeping the Bora. I think I'm going to take her off the road now. She's okay.
I would leave her Irish. I would leave either one of them Irish spec, and just have a really clean one.
No,
because James De Geer, I think, sold his.
Did he sell it?
I think he said MWL was in a trailer away at his house.
Red.
I sold them D turbos. D turbo fans.
Red. Probably because the SMTs are massive money.
Oh,
they're big money.
How much did SMTs make? £1,200.
£1,100.
Fuck me. They are
They are the mecca.
Haven't seen them I used to think Volcans and a Zara and all everything, but no. Is it SMTs you call them? Mm-hmm. They are the literal will now for D turbos.
Disagree. 17-inch stealths.
No, I would actually put them in 306s or Zara. I would actually put them above them.
No, I just can't. The AZAs, I think, are class.
The only
Zara
will I've
well.
actually looked HEM and Regal competition site. That gave me a wow factor that no other
I'd
I'd
prefer to see it in stealths or Vulcans, or not Vulcans, Lions.
No,
but then I like phase ones and 15-inch Cyclones. So
I've always said that 306s. I don't care what anybody thinks. 17, there's something about the big alloy and them absolutely decked in the big alloys.
To be fair, if I had to go out and buy a set of wheels for one in the morning, it'd be a set of Renditions. I think I said this about 2 podcasts ago as well. 308 sport wheels, I'd put them on. They're class.
I thought 308 sport wheels.
Renditions.
Oh right, it's 3008 wheels of the Savaras.
Savaras, yeah, and then Challenger / Vortexes are the 307 wheels.
Vortex are the 15-inch.
17. Challengers are also 17, but they're not as wide. They're half an inch narrower. So some people sell Vortexes, claiming they're Vortexes, and they're actually Challengers.
Okay.
I'm going to move past Hugh Bars because I'm going to put it in for the same as Andrew Morton and put it in as a thought at the end. So the couple of last questions here. Brian Coppinger. 2 questions. First, will Porrig Leonard ever stop picking on Conor?
The partner's looking to come to my silage.
Porrig? I did invite him, to be fair. I'm hoping I can go for that. You're designing a farmyard on a greenfield site. Would you rather one massive shed with everything under one roof, or would you rather one shed for cattle, one for calves, and one for everything else?
I'll let you answer that first out of curiosity.
I've thought about this a
Go for
lot. I would actually, if it was a full greenfields, I would have everything under one roof.
Okay.
And I would have it split up with different gates. For if I was doing it that way, I would even have it down to, depending on how many cattle you had. Well, let's say a greenfield site, something maybe borderline, like let's say something absolutely huge. Like say you're milking 300 cattle.
We'll go milking 100 just for pure handy numbers.
Go milking 100.
Yeah. 100 and 100 young stock.
See, the way I would do it is I would have kind of one big shed, but have different channels, and basically you can come through from the other side. If you imagine how I would do it up, is you would have the parlour in one corner, and then you would have cattle and slats on either side of a passageway.
Right.
So if you were taking the cattle over, you would just have gates and they run across like a slatted path across the passageway.
Okay.
And that's how you would, so you don't end up with as long an area, and you have more space for cattle and more room for feeding.
Okay.
And then after that, I would have, so you'd have one big passageway going right through from one end of the shed to the other. But then I would also, so that goes from say north to south. But then I would also have two passageways coming east to west, which crosses over the main passageway, and I would split that up into dry cows, bullocks, calves, etc., and have it all under one big shed, one big collection tank for everything. And basically you've got more opportunities to feed the cattle because you can feed them both, like going across the way and down the way, so you've more places to feed cattle, so cattle's getting fed better.
Right.
I'd have to draw it out, but basically it looks like a big rectangle with loads of different sections with and
loads of different feed passages.
And basically it means that you can pull cattle out, walk them down a feed passage and put them into a calving pen.
Okay.
And you can take them out and you don't have to run on animals across yards, and everything is kept clean. Okay. And that's how I would do it.
So I would have one shed. So if it was me personally, greenfield site, I would have one shed for milking. I'd put 2 robots in, and I would have one side of that as the dry cows, and the main part of it as the milkers. I'd have a separate calf shed and a separate heifer shed.
You would have separate sheds?
The reason being is different airspace. You'd have fucking tons of problems with one shed.
Really?
Oh, aye, health-wise, aye.
But if it was well enough, if the airflow was good enough?
Still, they always say you should have a separate airspace for young stock.
Really?
To older stock, aye, if you can, yeah. So one long feed passage in each. So in an ideal theory world, your calf shed would be essentially individual pens for the first week, and then they would be onto the feeder, onto a calf feeder. Then the heifer's house would be basically just slats, and then
I'm still listening, by the way.
feed passage, obviously the feed, and you'd have a crush along the side of a shed somewhere for the heifers. I like the idea of the herringbone crush that Andrew Muldrew has.
Yes.
So say like that there for AIN and that for handy manoeuvring them and that. And then in regards to the dairy shed, it would be, you could say, a long shed with a long feed passage. Robots basically 2/3 up, so 1/3 is your dry cows and your cows you're introducing into the robots through the training program, and also it's handy for the robot to separate a cow that's not well, and then the rest is cubicles and not the mothers. And I've been on a farm in the last couple of years, and that is exactly the way their dairy shed went. And I thought it was, like,
Very
to be
impressive.
fair, really, really, really well done.
Fair enough. That,
two
that
robots.
to the point where that would actually change my opinion.
2 robots, because it's Greenfield site, and
Eamon Dempsey.
yes,
So he goes.
this keeps fucking refreshing, so I have to go in.
Not sure if it's been asked before. This actually has been asked before a couple of times.
Has it?
Not sure it's been asked before, but if silage season kicks off, what's your dream old school silage outfit pre-1980s? Conor, would you like to guess mine?
Look, give me 5 minutes of face. Go on, go for it, Michael. I just know you're dying to. Go for it.
Well, see, actually, because it's the 80s, you're actually kind of wrong. Because all my fate interest and stuff kind of comes more in the 80s.
Were the 90 series not made in the
They
80s?
were, but they weren't the same. A lot of them had been 30k and weren't galvanised and had a different looking bit. Didn't have like the front mudguard extensions. Although if I was to go down that route, I would still probably say if you could get like a big 1880 on a harvester, that'd be class. Like,
What is an 1880?
basically the predecessor to the 1880.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so 780s and 1880 and 980s 190, 1180s 11090, etc. I would have probably a couple of TW15s.
Okay.
And TW15s, say like a 1280, and then maybe like an older 190 or 11090 drawn in. For mowing, I'd actually probably run a TW35.
Okay.
Or a big Zetter crystal, like a 16425 or something like that. For raking, I would actually probably have a 7-8-10. Oh no, a 7-6-10, and then you'd have a 7-8-10 as well for drawing in. And for buck raking, probably just, I don't know, something like Mary or an old cat or something like that. You know, probably Mary, and then maybe another, like maybe one of the TWs instead of drawing, maybe a TW in the pit or something like that there. Pushing in. If we're going 80s, like.
For me,
Be off Ford and Fiat mainly, like.
pretty much, I would say you'd have a mixture of 7-8-10 and 8-2-10s.
Yeah.
Say mowing and auto swaying, and then rowing. An old New Holland harvester, like
Yeah,
or
I think
class.
that's what I'd go for, an
Or a
New Holland
class
1904.
harvester.
If I didn't have a 1880 thing on behind it, I'd go for one of them, yeah.
Red Rock silage drillers. Either an O1K shovel or else an old
Funny, I forgot about the
Caterpillar.
one case, a 910 cat or something. Like. I wonder where you got the experience for that.
They take the abuse. What else? I think that's more or less it.
Back in the day, like, boys would have been auto-swathing. You wouldn't even been raking in. Like, boys would have been
True,
auto-swathing back in the day.
They all would have been 20-foot rows, not
Yeah.
been straight cut into the silage.
Aye, basically cutting behind the harvester, or cutting off the mower, yeah.
You'd cut it behind the harvester, would
Aye, that'd be great going. Basically, you'd be more or less the harvester would be following the mower up the field.
Aye. Not the mower full.
Nah, that'd be it. Unless it was a harvester that had the mowers in the front.
Really?
Like Quinn's. The other question he had was 7-8-10, blue or green? That's a hard question.
That is a hard one, isn't it?
If you were to give me the two tractors,
Actually, no, it's not.
why?
Because one is something that points fucking 30 degrees north, and that's called the sunroof. Up Ford any day of the week.
See, I would love a 7-8-10 deer, but I have just no use for one here at the minute. Whereas a 7-8-10 Ford
It's just 7-8-10 Ford is cooler.
they're both cool. They're both. I will stop and stare at both of them.
No, I will too, but
No,
Like,
there's something I
see
love.
if the 7-8-10s came with a sunroof.
But that wouldn't faze me as much. Like,
No, well, obviously, because your Fiat didn't have a sunroof for
it does
years.
now though, and now it's never shut.
Exactly. But, you know,
It's
you're buying one of those because it's cool.
yeah, but like for instance, if I had
Like, as the 7-8-10D, you're going to be a much better tractor.
oh well, it's a far bigger tractor. It's for me, like, right, I suppose I tend to look at things. If I was in a position, right, where I had, say, like I have the Fiat now, right. If I could do a second tractor. Say I could do a second tractor. It would be handy for the one day a year you want to mix slurry while you're drawing out
Yes,
silage.
you say you could do with a second tractor, okay.
A
Yeah.
second tractor would be handy for certain things, but do I really need one? No.
No, you definitely don't.
I definitely don't. But do I want one? Yes. And is it handy? Because, like, say, mixing when you're drawing out the slurry and then you have to mix the tank as well as drawing out, that can be a balls. But that's once a year.
Yes.
That's once a year. So, and,
That's not a massive
and
inconvenience.
the reality is, if I really was smart about it, I would like borrow like Donald's T5 or something, or Donald's 990.
Yeah, you could, yeah.
You know, so like that would be the way of doing that. But if you were to say what tractor would I take now, I'd take a 7810, because what I would do is I'd put either a
I
78.
had Ford or John Deere, though.
Oh, fuck that, right enough. I'd take
Oh, you know what, take a
I'd take
7810.
the Ford, because for what I'm set up with now at the minute, I'm running like the Fiat, and I could have another similar size tractor that could mix slurry and get it, it's low enough to get into certain sheds and all that. But if I had like a second tractor down the line, and I wanted something else just to have, then I'd probably go for the Deere one, because you could use it for other things, like maybe drawing a bigger tanker or something like that, But I would go for the Ford as of now.
Because I have absolutely fucking no need for either of them. I'm just thinking of what looks kind of cool, and I don't know, something about the Ford 10 series is, yeah, they're very cool, yeah. Much sunroof, very just stuff the priorities and that,
Yes, of course.
And you'd probably turbo it, and it would be easier to drive than a Fiat.
Yeah.
Ultimately, I'd just rather afford it.
Yeah. Well. Then a couple of things I want to finish off with is the thoughts, because I kind of want to try and add to that. So if I got a couple of them, and it's mainly just Hugh Barr, Ryan McMullen and Andrew Morton all kind of messing about in the comments.
Yeah.
So Hugh Barr sent in a picture saying, is there many office views better than this? And it's him looking out over the Bann Valley. And to be fair, if I was up at the top of our fields cutting it, I'll take a picture whenever we're at our grass, and that'll rival the view you put on, because I can go over the Bann Valley too. Over to, you look over to Tully and Portlanone, it's a class view as well, up at the top of our farm. However, Ryan McMullen, he put in a picture of him looking out over the sea, because he's right on the coast. It's where he farms. I've seen some incredible photos of his farms. It's spectacular, the views Ryan McMullen has.
Carnlough, it's fucking deadly.
It is Carnlough. He has unreal places. And then Andrew Morton sent it. Did you see the video of his 6490?
Aye, so Andrew, he got the tractor basically not dollied up, but he basically got bits painted and bolts and that zinc plated and that.
Yeah, and then he got our Andy Hamill to do.
And I was like,
Stackford.
the one thing that he done that I don't see any of them doing is putting new decals on them, because for some reason tier 2s and tier 3s, the sticker is all one piece, and it's actually red vinyl, or like red fucking dyed vinyl on it.
Yes.
And it fades, so
Yes.
it's just a full white sticker. And funny, I sent him a voice note and said fair play for getting the stickers, and he was like, oh, don't even go there. The stickers I ordered still have the fucking red bit in them, so I don't know how long they'll stay red for.
Jesus.
Whereas the new ones come with 3 different bits, you see. But yes, his tractor and harvester is
Sounds unbelievable.
fucking cool.
Sounds class.
I would like to come up whenever you're putting in some silage for the tractor.
Well, Ryan told me they were going to be at it maybe this weekend, but they'll have a second I would like to get up to Ryan's even just for the view and stuff to get to just capture that even
We
before.
should do that some evening,
We
mate.
probably should, yeah. I'm sure Andrew or whatever will take us up, and I know they have the same channels and the CB radios I have, so we could. I would love
You'll
to,
likely end up bringing the feet.
I'd love to take my feet up there, but and then the other final thought again is Andrew and Ryan. So I actually thought it was Ryan that bought it, but it's Andrew.
I am 99% sure that it's Andrew's pickup.
One
yeah.
or two of them owns that pickup. It's a white Navara with a stack coming out the back of her.
She's a severely heavily modified
She
pickup.
has some file on her as well because she is smoky.
She's a very quick pickup.
Very, very sharp pickup. I saw him sliding around the field and he says, "How about the hillbilly stig?"
Good job that field needs a plough.
Aye, that's what they were saying. It's going to get ploughed anyway.
All I can think of is wait till the grass is off the field so the soil contamination wouldn't be annoying the
Funny,
grass.
I was thinking that too, but like, for all it is, it's a tiny wee bit of crack. Like, so that's the thoughts from the Q&A. I know people have sent stuff through to me, but I'm trying to get this narrowed down to the thoughts of the community. But
Well, you thought this would be a very short one, but it's fucking half one. And we still have 2 tractors to wash and clean. You still have a CB aerial to wire in, and I still have bales to bring home and milk the cows.
Aye.
Aye.
Do you have a welder at yours?
Yeah.
And have you metal and all line about?
Yeah.
And have you pillar drill and stuff?
Aye.
I'll make you something then. I'll do. But a clamp would have just been handier.
Yeah. About that.
Yeah. Okay, we call it a day. It's like 2.5 hours.
Is it 2
Yeah.
hours? Right, didn't realise this would be as long. If you haven't made it this far.
We've had a few, probably about 15 minutes pulled out of it, but even not, that's still a fairly long podcast.
Yeah, hope you enjoyed it.
I like the questions. I like answering the questions. I enjoy
it's definitely a
the
filler
questions.
episode. Nobody will probably listen to this, but for those who do, it's really appreciated. Thank you very much. To follow us on all socials, it's at Limited Slip Differences and everything. To follow Michael and not be creepy, it is at
Michael Scullin _.
And to follow me, I'm at Conor.McGoo.
And I'm also M Scullin on Snapchat.
And I'm just everything on.
You can follow the pod at Limit Slip Diff.
I did
say
say
that.
that.
Absolutely everything. Thank you, Conor. I'm saying it again. Sorry about that. And because I'm losing concentration, I'm ahead out. Best of luck. See
Good
you
luck,
later.
people.